Chapter 26. According to the address, Sue and Olivia arrived at Williamsburg restaurant half an hour later. We've been to this neighborhood before. We had coffee in that cafe the day before yesterday afternoon. The waitress had to take a leave of absence for something, so the boss found someone to take her place temporarily. She wasn't very skilled, and you gave her a tip of $200. Olivia pointed to a cafe about 500 meters across the street. Sue burst out laughing. He really didn't expect that the sign of Williamsburg restaurant was so small and inconspicuous. Is it because the plot has not started yet and the silly boss has not taken over the restaurant yet? Or has he never changed the sign after taking over? The name of the restaurant is correct, and the location is correct. It's impossible for a restaurant that meets all the requirements but has nothing to do with the restaurant to appear by chance, right? Let's go in and take a look. Sue was full of anticipation, and as if he was checking out a popular online tourist attraction, he opened the door of the restaurant and walked in. As soon as he entered, Sue wanted to turn around and leave. This is not the Williamsburg restaurant I was looking for. Where are my two broke girls? The restaurant should still be the same restaurant, with almost no changes in the decoration and layout, but the cashier is not the 75-year-old musician, and the boss should not be the superstar, only 1.5 meters tall, and most importantly, the waiter who comes to greet her is neither the bold and outspoken Max who often makes sarcastic remarks, nor the spoiled doll Caroline who has fallen on hard times. Sue muttered to himself, looking forward to clocking in, but found that he was too early, the staff had not yet come to work, and the store door was not even open. He could only stand outside and take a look, secretly saying I've been here. What's wrong? Seeing that Sue's expression was not right, Olivia asked puzzledly. Nothing. Sue shook her head and handed over $100 to the waiter who came over, trying to hold back the pungent smell of cheap perfume in her almost obvious glances. Is the owner of this restaurant a Bear countryman? The waiter's eyes lit up, and he took the money very skillfully. When he put the money down, he almost exposed his original occupation. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and stopped in time. Yes, what else do you want to ask? That's enough. Sue shook her head, pulled Olivia, who hadn't reacted to what was happening, and turned and walked out of the restaurant quickly. What's going on? Didn't you specifically ask Luke to help you find this restaurant? Why did you come out just after you entered? After coming out, Olivia looked at Sue in confusion. The restaurant is right, but the people are wrong. Sue sighed dejectedly. He was not sure when the drama Two Broke Girls took place, so he didn't know when he would come to check in next time. You're looking for someone? Is the person related to this restaurant? Olivia said casually, why don't you just buy this restaurant? You're planning to buy a property anyway, and this restaurant has a good location. You won't lose money if you buy it, so it's much better than buying a house. The speaker may not have any intention, but the listener may take it seriously. Sue's eyes, which were originally somewhat disappointed, suddenly brightened up. You have grown up. After such a long time, you finally came up with a constructive and forward-looking suggestion on spending money. By buying Williamsburg restaurant, one can not only satisfy his need to spend money to become stronger, but also sit back and wait for the fool to come to him. There is no difference between taking over this restaurant from the Bear countryman and taking it over from oneself. Well, there's a big difference, because I don't know how to sell it. But if Hanan wants to take over this restaurant, he will definitely contact the boss, right? Although he will not sell the restaurant to him, it would be great if he can ask him to be a manager or invest in it, and then he can just sit there and wait for the story to happen. Buy a theater to watch a play, and then ask who else you have. Sue took out his cell phone and called Luke. After the call was connected, he said directly, Luke, please help me find out who the owner of Williamsburg restaurant is. Is the restaurant's house rented or bought? I want to buy both the house and the restaurant. He, Luke, the policeman, werewolf, former shadow hunter, is not your butler, nor is he a real estate agent. Luke on the other end of the phone was silent for a long time before he said, wait for my news, and then hung up. Come on, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. The frustration of failing to clock in was swept away. Aren't you not at work? Aren't you closed? Was my trip in vain? No way, I'll just buy the store. There is a coffee shop 500 meters diagonally opposite. After Sue and Olivia sat down, a uniformed waiter came over with the order form. Sue turned around to see if it was the waiter who replaced him the day before yesterday. To be honest, he had forgotten what the waiter looked like. But when he looked up and saw the waiter's appearance, Sue was stunned. Surprises always come so suddenly. In other words, for Sue, the world is full of surprises. Are you the waiter here? Sue asked with a smile, squinting her eyes. Yes, what would you like to order? The waiter nodded. Did you take a day off the day before yesterday? Sue didn't rush to order food, but asked another question instead. The waiter was stunned. Yes, I took a leave of absence the day before yesterday. Do we know each other? I thought we could get to know each other and make friends. My name is Sue, and I'm from Virginia, Mystic Falls. P.S. Does anyone know when the Two Broke Girls plot takes place and how old Max and Caroline are in the show? This is the first update today. Also, I have to print and mail contracts during the day, so the update may be late. Chapter 27. The words Mystic Falls made the waiter's expression slightly startled, and his body trembled slightly. Where are you from? Mystic Falls, a small place. Sue explained with a smile, in fact, I left a long time ago and am not familiar with the place. The waiter secretly breathed a sigh of relief and smiled thoughtfully. What a coincidence, I am also from Mystic Falls, and like you, I left a long time ago. By the way, my name is Anna. This is the guidance of fate. Sue said meaningfully. Anna smiled and said, maybe we can find time to talk about Mystic Falls. With pleasure. Sue took out his cell phone and exchanged numbers with Anna. Since Anna was still at work, they didn't talk much and agreed to contact each other by phone. I ordered 2 cups of coffee and paid the bill in advance. Anna brought it over soon and then greeted other guests. It's okay that you didn't play the digital tipping game, but you didn't even give an extra tip. Are you serious? Olivia joked to Sue while drinking coffee. Sue shrugged and smiled without saying anything. So, you like this one? Olivia looked at the waiter who was taking orders for other customers. He had black hair, yellowish skin, and facial features with obvious Oriental features, but not absolutely so. He should be a mixed-race person with Oriental ancestry. It was the first time she saw Sue take the initiative to talk to a girl. She was about to tease her, but Sue gently shook his head to stop her. That feeling that something was wrong came back. Olivia subconsciously glanced at the waiter a few more times. Could it be another supernatural creature? It seemed that Sue would only be so proactive when he encountered a supernatural creature. Werewolf? Shapeshifter? Vampire? Olivia used her limited knowledge of supernatural creatures to curiously guess the waiter's identity, but unfortunately there were no obvious features and she couldn't identify him at all. The only thing that is certain is that the other party is probably not a vampire. After all, as everyone knows, vampires are afraid of sunlight and it is impossible for them to come out to work during the day. Let's go. After drinking coffee, Sue and Olivia got up and left. Before leaving, Sue waved goodbye to Anna. Get in the car and start the engine. After Olivia started the car, she turned around and looked at Sue impatiently. Sue waved her hand to signal her to drive first. After leaving the block, Sue smiled and said, guessed it. Supernatural creature. Olivia asked curiously, so, what is she? Vampire. What? Olivia's eyes widened instantly, and she said in complete disbelief, vampire? She is actually a vampire? Aren't vampires afraid of sunlight and can't appear during the day? Sue's supernatural creatures class is now open. Again, there are many types of vampires, but no matter which type they are afraid of sunlight and cannot appear normally during the day. However, there are several ways to allow vampires to live normally in the sun without being affected. One is the blood of elves, which can make vampires resistant to sunlight and resist sunlight for a short period of time, but it is time limited. Both half-blood elves and pure-blood elves' blood can be used. Note that not all elves can be used. It must be a specific kind of elf. The other type is props made of lapis lazuli, such as rings and necklaces. Wearing them can make vampires appear during the day. You may not have noticed that Anna is wearing a ring made of lapis lazuli, also known as a daylight ring. The daylight ring comes from the American TV series The Vampire Diaries. Sue only remembers its material and function, but does not know the specific production method and is not sure whether it requires some kind of witch's magic. Many vampires in the Vampire Diaries have daylight rings, and Anna is one of them. When Sue recognized her, he observed her hand first and confirmed that she was wearing a ring. Only then did he take the initiative to ask to make friends and said that he was from Mystic Falls. When Sushi first met Olivia, he also observed her hands. The reason was that Stefan, one of the male protagonists in the Vampire Diaries, had a female vampire friend named Lacey, who looked exactly like Olivia. Sue uses the ring to determine whether she is Lacey in the Vampire Diaries or Olivia in Midnight, Texas. Werewolves are policemen and open restaurants, vampires work as waiters in cafes, and they can even live in the sun like humans. I have lived until now and suddenly realized that I know nothing about this world. Olivia sighed with melancholy. How did you recognize she was a vampire? Olivia was very curious. On the surface, there was nothing special about Anna or werewolf Luke. How did Sue recognize their identities at a glance? Secret. Sue chuckled, then reminded, vampires are more dangerous than werewolves. There are too few vegetarian vampires. To them, humans are just food. For Anna, if she doesn't suck blood, her ability will weaken and she will gradually turn into a mummy. Common ways to deal with vampires are that they can eat garlic, but the cross is useless. Holy water can be drunk. As long as they eat healthily and keep the blood in their bodies, they are almost the same as normal people. Especially when she drinks coffee, the caffeine in the coffee can speed up blood circulation, so that when others touch her, they won't feel her body is cold. Fire, a wooden stake piercing their heart can kill them. There is also a plant called verbena. After a vampire drinks it, it will make them very weak. At the same time, humans can resist the hypnosis of vampires by wearing or drinking verbena. Vampire hypnosis is very troublesome. If you encounter a vampire in the future, be sure to pay attention to this. Chapter 28. While reminding Olivia, Sue also did not forget to reflect on himself. Vampire hypnosis can erase people's memories, and those with strong powers can even distort people's thinking. If hypnosis is compared to an illusion, can you crack it? Illusion attacks the enemy's 5 senses, causing them to fall into hallucinations. A skilled illusion user can even manipulate the flow of chakra in the enemy's brain nerves at will, thereby achieving the purpose of disruption and control. The magic of Naruto belongs to this category. Vampire hypnosis should be the spiritual power in the blood, released through the eyes and voice. The Byakugan should be able to break the vampire's hypnosis. After all, the Byakugan belongs to the Kekii Genkai, and its bloodline and structure are different from ordinary eyes. Besides, vampire hypnosis is not so absolute. It is not so effective or even has no effect on other supernatural creatures. Even ordinary humans may be able to resist as long as they are mentally tough and have strong mental strength. Since I know illusion techniques, I should have some ability to resist them. Strong Chakra. He has high attainments in illusion. Perfect Chakra Ki. These people are immune to illusions, but I am still far from that now. The most I can do is to deal with the hypnosis of vampires. Back at the hotel, Sue received a call from Luke. Williamsburg Restaurant is the property of the Bear Country Mafia, and there is no intention to sell it. As for the restaurant's building, the owner has signed a long-term lease contract with another 6 years left on the contract. Not good news, not bad news either. 8 months before the start of the story of Two Broke Girls, Boss Han took over this restaurant from the Zirkuo Mafia. That is to say, if Sue wants to officially sign in on Two Broke Girls, he may have to wait until 5 years later at the latest. There is no need to get the restaurant now. There is plenty of time, and there is no rush to buy the restaurant now, but who can guarantee that the Bear Country Mafia will definitely sell the restaurant to Hanin before the rental contract expires? This is a fusion world of American TV series, not a Two Broke Girls world. With so many American TV series worldviews and plots fused together, what if a butterfly effect occurs? A small thing that is inadvertently changed may affect the entire system and completely change the direction of some plots. Even if there is no butterfly effect, even if we know that the plot of Two Broke Girls will not begin until 5 years later, who knows where we will be in 5 years? What will we be doing? What if we forget about this? It's better to put the money in your pocket. If you want to buy it, there is no need to wait until next time. Sue got the restaurant owner's contact information from Luke and planned to find time to meet and talk with him. In the evening, Sue's cell phone rang again. It wasn't a strange number, nor was it Luke or Olivia next door, but Anna, a fellow countryman I met during the day. After the call was connected, Anna revealed her identity, said she was off work, and asked him if he wanted to meet and chat. Sue readily agreed. Anna then texted the meeting place. She actually asked me to meet her at her house? This doesn't mean she has good intentions towards me. Sol looked at the text message on her phone and decided not to bring Olivia this time. He could deal with vampires, but Olivia couldn't, at least not now. If Anna really had bad intentions, Olivia would definitely suffer a loss, and he would also be afraid to act rashly. After leaving the hotel, Sue took a taxi to keep the appointment. Bored on the way, Sue recalled Anna's performance in the play and guessed her purpose of asking her to meet him at home. Anna is not a vegetarian among vampires. Although she looks young, she is actually more than 100 years old. In 1864, she went to see the vampire Catherine with her mother Pearl. At that time, the two male protagonists, brothers Damon and Stefan, had not yet been transformed into vampires. She and her mother Pearl settled in Mystic Falls. Pearl and Catherine were good friends and Pearl had tried to persuade Catherine to leave several times, but unfortunately Catherine didn't listen. In the end, Catherine messed up. Catherine, Pearl, and the other vampires in the town were sealed in the cemetery under the old church, which was also burnt down. Anna escaped by chance and left Mystic Falls. Many years later, when the plot of the Vampire Diaries begins, Anna returns to Mystic Falls as a helper after transforming into a graduate in the town. She approaches the heroine Elena's brother Jeremy, trying to get Jeremy's family diary, find a way to break the seal of the cemetery, and rescue her mother. After many twists and turns, Anna succeeded. She rescued her mother, but fell in love with Jeremy in the process. How do you sing that line? Falling in love is not that easy. Just when Anna and her mother Pearl decided to give up on taking back Mystic Falls and prepare to stay and live a stable life, Jeremy's uncle killed them. Judging from Anna's performance in the plot alone, she is not a cruel and bloodthirsty vampire. Sucking blood is just an instinct. She is friendly to humans. She has done good things and bad things. As long as she can save her mother, she is willing to pay any price and do anything. Although her actual age is not young, her appearance and mental state are very young. Although she knows how to use tricks, her methods are hard to describe. In order to save her mother, she took the initiative to approach Jeremy. What was Jamie like at that time? Because of his parents' death, his personality changed drastically. He started taking drugs, selling drugs, and became a bootlicker. It can be said that he is good for nothing and has no shining points at all. What's the result? Anna actually fell in love with him. From this point alone, it can be seen that Anna is definitely not a scheming, sinister and cunning person. P.S. I recommend my old books, Marvel, The Coming of the King, Zombie Contract, The Strongest God of Death, Marvel, The Fruit of the Door, American Comics, The Strongest Villain, and KO1, The Strongest God of War. If it is troublesome to type the title of the book, you can directly look for my pen name on the site, Marvel King. Chapter 29. Anna might have two purposes for meeting me at home. One is that she wanted to learn about the recent situation in Mystic Falls through this fellow villager so that she could use this intersection to cover her identity when she returns in the future. The other might be that she wanted to transform herself into a vampire and become her helper. It is not easy to lift the seal of the old cemetery. Anna's goal is the magic book of Witch Bonnie's family, which records the method to lift the seal. Jeremy's family diary contains clues to the magic book, so Anna approaches Jeremy and lets the transformed local boy approach Bonnie, in order to find the magic book. Only familiar faces who have lived in the town can get close to Bonnie in the shortest time and successfully find clues to the magic book. It just so happened that Sue was of the right age and was from Mystic Falls. Half an hour later, Sue got out of the taxi and walked into a dilapidated old apartment. The stairs made a creaking sound, as if they might collapse at any time. Following the house number, Sue found Anna's house and raised her hand to knock on the door. Bang, bang, bang. Hold on. The sound came closer and closer, and the door opened a crack. Anna opened the door with some surprise. You are here so soon? I'm making dinner, I hope I won't disappoint you. Anna stepped aside and invited Sue into the house. The house is very small and the decoration is a bit old, but it is kept very clean and has a small and cozy feeling. A gift for you. You can't go to a date empty-handed for the first time, so when Sue came out, he picked out a gift from his pile of unopened spare mobile phones. Anna took it and opened it, and was stunned. This should be quite expensive, right? Thank you. Motorola V3 is a phone that is full of age and can be regarded as a childhood memory. It is indeed the latest model in this era and its price is not low. Sue himself uses this model. Please sit down first, I'll be there soon. Anna put her phone on the table and went to the kitchen. It's called a kitchen, but actually it's just a corner of the room, an open kitchen. Soon Anna returned to the living room with a plate. There was no dining table and it was not that formal. They just sat on the sofa in the living room. There were 2 servings of pasta, which were specially arranged on the plate and looked delicious. Then Anna turned around and got a bottle of red wine. My house is a little simple, I hope you don't mind. Anna smiled and sat down next to Sue, motioning for him to taste her cooking. How about it? Excellent craftsmanship, much better than I expected. How did you do it? Sue tasted it and gave a very pertinent evaluation. Anna said with a smile, I live my own life, I will learn it as I go along. Do you like studying cooking? I guess so. I don't have any hobbies. I spend most of my time working. Occasionally when I have free time, I will do something I like to reward myself. Award. Sue was speechless, you can't digest it, right? Anna was stunned, what do you mean? Sue looked at her with a smile but no words. Anna's eyes quickly transformed into a mixture of shyness, surprise, panic, and ferocity. Suddenly, her expression turned cold, and her eyes quickly turned dark, as if she had put on shadow makeup. She opened her mouth, her sharp fangs protruded, and she reached out to grab her neck. They start fighting as soon as they disagree. Bang! Anna grabbed Sue's neck with one hand and lifted him up. Sue's feet were off the ground, his face flushed, and his expression was very painful. However, there was no panic or fear in his eyes. Instead, there was a sense of satisfaction and relief that came from having achieved what he wanted. Anna looked at Sue with a cold and ferocious face, and the hand holding his neck loosened slightly. Who are you, and how do you know my identity? So this is what it feels like to be strangled by someone, thank you. Anna almost lost control and strangled his neck. Is this guy sick? Don't play tricks, answer my question, who are you? Bang! Before the questioning was over, Sue suddenly exploded. A cloud of white smoke suddenly rose, and Anna felt that Sue had disappeared from her hands. She quickly stepped back to create some distance, and looked around vigilantly, looking for any trace of Sue. The house is so small that you can see the whole thing at a glance. No one. It was as if Sue had evaporated from the face of the earth, completely gone. Anna subconsciously went to the window and looked outside. The street lights were dim, there were few pedestrians, and there was no suspicious target. Escaped? Impossible. Even if he was very fast, it was impossible for him to escape without any warning right under my nose. Who is this guy? Did he accidentally discover my identity or is he coming for me? The more Anna thought about it, the more uneasy she became. She calmed herself down and her figure quickly flashed across the room. After a few seconds, she put the important items into her backpack and walked to the door to leave. I opened the door and saw a figure standing outside. It was Sue. When did you get out? Never mind, it doesn't matter anymore. Go back and tell Camille that she will never catch me if you can still go back alive. Anna shook her shoulders, grabbed the strap of her backpack and threw it directly towards Sue. The vampire's speed was almost pushed to the limit by her. Then, she turned around, went into the house, closed the door, and jumped out of the window. No, didn't what you just said sound like you wanted to kill me? Is it really okay to just turn around and run? Also, why don't you explain yourself clearly before you run away? Who is Camille and what does she have to do with me? P.S. At the current speed, the 5th update today may not be finished before midnight. In addition, since I focus on the consumption of the super rich, I cannot write about many aspects. Some car models have not been released in this era. It's so depressing. The picture is Anna. Chapter 30. Sue was confused. The reason why he was confused was, on the one hand, what Anna said before she ran away and the reason why she ran away, and on the other hand, it was because of the shadow clone. Yes, shadow clone. Vampires are very fast and can hypnotize, so Sue has a safe bet. If Anna really sets up a hangman feast with bad intentions, shadow clone is not afraid of either hypnosis or being bitten. As a tool, you must use it reasonably. Unexpectedly, the shadow clone was so cheeky. He did what he hesitated to do at the beginning, which was to skip those empty and meaningless temptations and directly reveal Anna's identity. Sue will definitely go to Mystic Falls, and Anna will definitely go back to Mystic Falls. It would be better to just make it clear and save time. If they get along well, they can become friends and help each other. I just didn't expect Anna to react so strongly, and I didn't expect the shadow clone to give up resistance and try the effect of being attacked. Well, this should be considered as his own idea. So she really wanted to test the ability of the shadow clone to withstand attacks through Anna. Well, this cannot be considered as the shadow clone acting on his own. His shadow clone is not Naruto's shadow clone, and it will compete with the original body. His shadow clone is a standard tool man. Camille, I seem to have heard of this name before. Sir recalled the American TV series he had watched, took out sunglasses from his shirt pocket and put them on, then slowly chased after him. Anna was very fast. After jumping out of the window, she disappeared into the alley across the street in just a few blinks of an eye. Once you roll your eyes, nothing can escape your gaze. There is no point in using obstacles to escape, as everything is illusory under perspective. Besides, the Byakugan has the ability to see far into the distance. It can use Chakra to multiply the power of the eyes and can see things within a kilometer radius. A few minutes later, Anna, who had been turning left and right, slowed down and breathed a sigh of relief after making sure that no one was catching up with her. She then walked into an alley again at a normal speed. As soon as she entered, Anna's originally relaxed mood instantly became tense. Under the moonlight, a man stood in the middle of the alley, his head tilted, showing his sharp fangs, blocking her way. Anna turned around hastily, but behind her stood a woman wearing a short leather jacket and a shaggy hairdo, who also showed her fangs, tilted her head, and stared at her with a defiant look. "BCH, you can't run away this time. Is this, the head tilt kill? If you are good looking, it is called the crooked head effect, if you are ugly, it is called the stiff neck." Sir rolled his eyes as he watched this scene and complained in a low voice. He probably guessed what was going on. Either Anna had provoked another group of vampires, or another group of vampires had targeted her. The cause was probably due to the daylight ring. Other vampires only come out at night and never have the chance to bask in the sun and feel its warmth. Why can you? Anna's identity as a vampire will cause endless troubles once it is discovered. People are selfish, let alone vampires who are no longer human. No wonder Anna reacted so strongly just now. She started fighting as soon as her identity was revealed, and after being tricked by the shadow clone, she turned around and ran away without even asking any questions. Brooklyn, vampire, Camille. Sue suddenly had an idea and remembered. This Camille is from Shadow Hunter, a veteran female vampire with great power, and the leader of this group of vampires. Simon, the childhood sweetheart of the heroine Clary and the boy with glasses, was transformed into a vampire by her. At the same time, Camille has countless male friends in the shadow world, including the elf Marion and the wizard Magnus, who have had emotional relationships with her. In addition, what impressed Sue the most about her was that she owned properties almost all over the world, and most of them were valuable, with several in Brooklyn alone. This is the senior he should learn from. The Dumont Hotel. The vampire's lair is the Dumont Hotel. I didn't even think of that before. If I had stayed at the Dumont Hotel when I came to Brooklyn, I would have seen vampires a long time ago. Sue felt a little regretful. One of the purposes of coming to Brooklyn was to identify two broke girls and shadow hunters, but she actually overlooked such an important clue. Although she met the werewolf Luke, she should have remembered it earlier. She could have gone to see the vampires when she had nothing to do in the past few days. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to meet Anna, otherwise I don't know when I would meet her again. With Camille's strength and power, any foreign vampires foraging in her territory, whether humans being bitten or blood being lost in the blood bank, would be discovered by her. Camille must have known the function of the daylight ring, and Anna should be aware of this as well. In all likelihood, they must have fought or dealt with each other recently, so if she made Anna's identity clear to her, Anna would treat her as Camille's person without even asking. This situation is very interesting. Sue was worried that the incident at Williamburg restaurant would be affected by the butterfly effect, and then Anna in the Vampire Diaries and Camille in Shadow Hunters came into conflict. What kind of impact will the intersection of two worlds that should not have intersected have? What kind of sparks will appear? Sue is looking forward to it. P.S. I was so depressed. I had almost finished writing this chapter, but the document suddenly crashed. I forgot to save it and couldn't find it after searching for a long time, so I had to rewrite it. Chapter 31. The hazy moonlight enveloped the remote alley. In the narrow alley, two figures wrestled with each other, with speed and strength beyond the reach of ordinary people. Bang! 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 Anna and the Shamit female vampire were fighting with each other, punching and elbowing each other. Either I would knock you into the wall, or you would kick me away. At first glance, it seemed that they were evenly matched and it was difficult to tell who was better. In fact, the Shamit female vampire was confident, while Anna was anxious. Can you not be anxious? As they are both vampires, the opponent's speed and strength are almost the same as hers. Anna is confident that she can escape in a one-on-one fight, but the opponent has accomplices. Although they did not attack her, the pressure on Anna is not small at all. Besides, this is Camille's territory, the longer we delay, the more trouble we will have. As the fight went on, Anna suddenly looked happy and shouted towards the entrance of the alley behind the killer female vampire, "You are finally here, come and help me." The voice is sincere and the meaning is profound. She has accomplices. The Shamit female vampire turned her head subconsciously. Anna suddenly accelerated, almost increasing her speed to the limit. Like a gust of wind, she instantly passed by the female killer vampire and headed straight for the alley entrance behind her. As long as she rushed out of the alley, she could escape. Although the night is the world of shadow creatures, they dare not act recklessly and recklessly. As long as they rush into the crowd and hide until dawn, they can leave Brooklyn in a swagger. Anna is smart, and the Shamit female vampire is not stupid either. If Anna really has an accomplice, her companions will definitely remind her. "How dare you lie to me?" The Shamit female vampire reacted quickly, turned sideways, and swept the whip heavily in the direction of Anna's breakthrough. Bang! Anna felt as if she was hit by a car. She groaned and fell backwards in an instant, sliding 1 or 2 meters on the ground before stopping. Without having time to feel the pain, Anna pushed herself up with her hands and looked at the male vampire who had not made a move, guarding against him, taking advantage of the opportunity to attack. However, the male vampire did not make a move, nor did he even look at Anna. His eyes passed over Anna, the Shamit female vampire, and stared at the entrance of the alley. "Be careful, there are people here," he whispered to the Shamit female vampire. "Anyone? Is there really someone?" Anna was stunned. Where did her accomplice come from? The Shamit female vampire turned her head to look at the entrance of the alley, and Anna also turned her head slightly to look over there. Actually, there really was a figure gradually emerging at the entrance of the dim alley, walking around the courtyard step by step, as if taking a stroll out of the shadows, revealing his true appearance. It's him. Although she didn't know why he wore sunglasses when it was so dark, Anna recognized him at a glance. It was the Sua family who caused her to escape and be blocked by the enemy here. The Shamit female vampire sniffed a few times and then said arrogantly, "It's not a shadow hunter, nor a werewolf, but a human. That BCH's blood slave? He's really loyal. Then I'll kill you first, and then your master." As soon as he finished speaking, the figure of the Shamit female vampire flashed in front of him in an instant, and her palms were like sharp claws, heading straight for his heart. Pucci! The palm pierced the chest. The arrogant and ferocious expression of the Shamit female vampire suddenly changed. Something was wrong. The feeling coming back from her hand was not right. Bang! White smoke rose and his shape changed. What pierced her hand was actually a trash can. The Shamit female vampire was stunned for a moment, and then her companion's reminder rang in her ears. Careful! With this reminder, the Shamit female vampire saw a figure rushing towards her. For a moment, the Shamit female vampire was a little panicked, but soon she was relieved. The opponent's speed was not fast, and his steps and movements could be seen clearly. The Shamit female vampire calculated the opponent's speed and stretched out her hand again with a grim smile. She could already foresee that when the opponent rushed over, her hand would just penetrate the opponent's. Swish! Disappeared, disappeared? The Shamit female vampire suddenly widened her eyes. How fast? How could it suddenly change so quickly? The sudden burst of extremely fast speed caught the Shamit female vampire off guard. Sol looked at her with a stunned expression, her body leaning back with a slight smile on her lips, her right hand supporting her body on the ground, and her left foot kicking up hard. Bang! A heavy kick landed on the chin of the Shamit female vampire. The tremendous force caused the Shamit female vampire to swing her hands behind her and her body to fly vertically into the air, rising high. Shadow dance leaf. Straightening his back and standing up, looking at the Shamit female vampire still rising into the air, So took a deep breath, quickly formed seals with his hands, and suddenly opened his mouth. Fire style, great fire extinguishment. A cluster of flames chased after the Shamit female vampire in mid-air, and then there was a loud bang, the flames exploded, and a sea of fire filled the air. The Shamit female vampire in mid-air let out a scream and then fell silent. In the red flames, a golden light that looked like a human figure could be vaguely seen flickering, and then bits of ashes and sparks of fire fell all over the sky. Bite. Kill reward, 1 point. A reminder tone sounds. Sol looked at Anna and the male vampire who were avoiding Mars, and pointed at the male vampire, "Do you want to dance too?" The male vampire turned and ran without saying a word. "Don't let him run away, otherwise we will be in trouble," Anna hurriedly reminded loudly when she saw this. So flipped his wrist, grasped the kunai attached to the detonating talisman in his right hand, and swung it with his arm. Call out the kunai pierced the back of the male vampire's head accurately and quickly. The male vampire groaned, and his movements stopped. Then a crackling sound was heard, and the detonating talisman burned and exploded. Bang! The flames after the explosion instantly enveloped the male vampire. A dazzling light lit up, and the male vampire turned directly into ashes. The fire dissipated and the explosion disappeared. The alley that was as bright as day just now fell into darkness again. P.S. Please give me flowers, collections and rewards. Chapter 32. Bite. Kill reward, 1 point. Sue ignored the reminder tone that rang again, and looked at Anna with a half-smile as she turned back stiffly with an embarrassed expression. She wants to slip away? You. I don't want to dance. As soon as Sue said the word you, she was interrupted by Anna's nervousness and excitement. 2 vampires who were equally matched with her were killed instantly without any resistance. Now she was the only one left. There had been a conflict between them before, and Anna was very panicked at this time. He had revealed his identity without any hesitation before, and just now he killed Camille's 2 vampire subordinates without any hesitation. Who is this person named Sue? Is he really from Mystic Falls? And his abilities are so weird. When he was strangled by his own neck, he turned into white smoke and disappeared. When a Shamit female vampire pierced his heart with her hand, he switched places with a trash can. When he counterattacked, his kick was so fast that the vampire couldn't keep up. He could also spit fire from his mouth. He is simply the natural enemy of vampires. Are you after my ring too? The ring is yours, let me go. Anna took off the daylight ring on her hand and threw it to Sue. She quietly stepped back, staring at Sue vigilantly. Pa. Sue took the ring, looked at it with interest, and threw it back to Anna. Anna was stunned, unable to guess Sue's purpose for a moment. The ring is nice, but I can't use it for now. I'll collect one when I have the chance. Sue smiled what she thought was a kind smile and explained, I don't want your ring or your life, and I have no ill will towards you. Our acquaintance was indeed guided by fate. If I really have a purpose, it's probably that I want to make friends with you. You, why do you want to make friends with me? I am a vampire. Normal people won't make friends with vampires. You are so strong. Killing a vampire is like killing a chicken or a dog. Would you be friends with a chicken? Would people be friends with a chicken? Anna said in a deep voice. People won't make friends with chickens, but they will make friends with dogs. Dogs have always been good friends of humans. Ahem, you've led me astray. What chickens and dogs? How can vampires be the same as these? Vampires are supernatural creatures. If I can kill vampires, I can't be friends with them. Then if I can kill people, I can't be friends with humans either. My biggest hobby is learning about supernatural creatures. Isn't it normal to make friends with supernatural creatures? Before I met you, I just met a werewolf. To be more precise, a pack of werewolves. I heard that the werewolf leader was hunted down by his werewolves because he was defeated by humans, and afterwards he didn't even have the courage to look at his enemies. Was it you who did it? Anna asked in surprise. The news spread so quickly, even you know about it. Sue was a little surprised, then smiled and said, this matter is not important. What's important is what you are going to do next. The daylight ring is too attractive to vampires. Camille will not give up. I'm afraid that all the entrances and exits of Brooklyn have been set up with a dragnet. Even if you hide until dawn and successfully escape, Camille will be able to track you down. You may have to keep running and avoid Camille's pursuit. In that case, how are you going to get back to Mystic Falls to save your mother? How did you know this? Anna was startled again. Sue shrugged, how about you follow me for a while? I need a sparring partner. You are fast, have strong recovery, and won't die easily, so you are very suitable to be my sparring partner. It would be even better if you can be my sealing experiment subject in your spare time. In exchange, I can guarantee your safety before you leave me, and I will cover all your expenses during this period. How about it? Can you rescue my mother? Maybe, maybe not. I won't promise you anything. I can tell you that I am very interested in sealing your mother's old cemetery. I will try it after returning to Mystic Falls. Sue was indeed interested in the sealing of the cemetery, or rather, he was interested in all supernatural powers. I promise. Anna agreed without hesitation because she had no other choice. Camille would not let it go. If she died, what would happen to her mother? Following Sue can ensure safety and she no longer has to worry about money. More importantly, Sue is not interested in her daylight ring and may come back to Mystic Falls in the future to help her rescue her mother. Especially the last point, Anna simply cannot refuse. P.S. Let me say that this book is a fusion of American TV series, not a single evil world. So many American TV series are integrated into one world, there will definitely be conflicts in the set rules, so many rules of a single world, such as the rules of evil, may not be completely applicable. Finally, there are the sealing combat powers such as God and evil. I guess the book is almost finished when I write about it. After all, it must be in the late stage of the plot. I can't set the final combat power of the protagonist at the beginning just for the sake of an ending. I have repeatedly emphasized that the Naruto system must be sufficient in the early stage. In the later stage, whether it is due to the magic change of the world rules or the brain hole, or the upgraded version of the system, etc., this problem can be reasonably solved, so that the plot can proceed in stages. Old readers know me. In order to avoid collapse and to complete my books, and I always finish them with millions of words, I take a long time to conceive new books, and I prepare a lot. I will not rush into it without thinking about the whole thing. I will just start writing when I have an idea, and I will give up if I can't continue. So, instead of worrying about the lack of a system, you might as well help me think of some other ideas for developing ninjutsu. Chapter 33. Shadow Clone Technique. Bang. 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 3 shadow clones appeared in response. Do you think that's the end? Transformation *3 bang. 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 The shadow clones simultaneously transformed into Anna's appearance, and walked out of the alley under Anna's stunned gaze, heading in different directions. Anna looked like she had never seen the world before. She pointed in the direction where the shadow clone left and murmured to Sue's original body who stayed there, what's going on? Shadow clone and transformation, a little trick to confuse Camille and divert her attention away from you. Sue dared to boast and guarantee her safety, so he naturally thought of a way to deal with it. The fact that the 2 vampires were able to accurately block Anna here means that Camille must have determined Anna's residence or locked down her range of activities. The shadow clones acting separately should be able to attract vampires nearby and in other areas and create chaos. By the time they realize that these Annas are all fake, it will not be so easy to find Anna again. Come over. Sue greeted Anna, then used the Earth Escape, submersible navigation technique, grabbed her shoulders and dived directly underground. Poor Anna performed her duties without any psychological preparation and helped Sue verify whether the Earth Escape and underground navigation could allow people to sneak underground. Vampires have no heartbeat, do not need to breathe, are not afraid of the darkness, and will not die easily. Diving deep underground has no effect on them. It can even be said that it is closely related to them. Most types of vampires cannot transform without being buried. In Shadow Hunters, if a human is bitten by a vampire or has vampire blood in his body, there are only 2 outcomes. One is to be buried in the ground and allowed to transform into a vampire, and the other is to be pierced through the heart with a wooden spike and killed completely. The same is true in True Blood. To become a vampire, one must have all the blood sucked out of the body, then be injected with vampire blood, and then be buried in the ground and wait to be resurrected. For vampires, the way of living is basically the same, but the way of dying is different. The death mentioned here does not refer to the method of killing them, but to the state after death. The 2 vampires killed by Sue before were vampires in Shadow Hunters. They would turn into ashes after death, without even any residue left. The vampires in True Blood would turn into blood after death, which was very disgusting. However, vampires like Anna in the Vampire Diaries were relatively normal. They would not turn into ashes or blood. Their bodies would just turn into lime after death, but at least their bodies would remain intact. Vulture Hotel, back alley. Sue grabbed Anna and floated to the ground. After returning to the ground, Anna subconsciously looked down at where her feet were and even stomped hard. Sue asked curiously, "What does it feel like?" "It feels like I'm in the water. The soil around me has turned into water. As I move, no. The soil around me has changed. I have been buried in the soil before, but this is the first time I've swum in the soil," Anna said while looking at Sue in amazement. "Can this method be used to sneak into the old cemetery and retrieve my mother?" Anna wanted to ask, but she didn't open her mouth in the end. The seal of the old cemetery was not simply meant to lock her mother and the others underground. If they could be rescued by diving underground, she would have gone back and razed the cemetery to the ground long ago. "What are we doing here?" Anna asked. "I live here." Sue pointed to a window of a room in the hotel building. "Can I go up?" Anna waited for a moment and nodded. "It should be possible." "I'll go up first, you follow me." Sue nodded and ran towards the building. Then he stepped on the wall with his feet and ran to the window of a certain floor in an extremely unscientific way as if he was walking on flat ground. He formed a seal and used the Earth escape and Earth navigation technique again to pass through the wall and entered the room. Click. Sue opened the window and waved to Anna, who was opening her mouth wide below. Newton's coffin lid can hardly hold it down. "I've seen more shocking things. It's just running into the room through the wall. It's no big deal." Anna muttered to herself to comfort herself and jumped to the corner. After jumping high, she used her hands to gain leverage on the wall and jumped up again and again. How should I put it? This way of climbing the wall is more or less damaging to one's image. Vampires are usually mysterious, elegant, and elusive. How could they climb the stairs in this way? Speaking of which, it seems that most vampires in American TV series can't fly. At most, they can run faster and jump higher. Speaking of flying, Sue thought of the sealing technique he knew. It is not a seal to seal evil, but a fake painting of a super beast gazing covetously. To be more precise, it is a fake painting of a super beast. This ninjutsu can be regarded as the Naruto version of the magic brush Mal Yang. Sai often uses this ninjutsu to draw animals such as unicorns, pythons, birds, eagles, lions, mice, etc. Regardless of its power, it is very practical. With a wave of his hand, he splashed ink to draw an eagle. The eagle broke through the painting and flew high with its wings spread. What a touching picture! Unfortunately, the ninjutsu that he didn't draw couldn't be used at all. Sushi tried to use fire escape or earth escape to perform other ninjutsu of the same attribute, but it didn't work. His chakra is quite special. It can be regarded as all-purpose chakra or all-attribute chakra. There is no so-called chakra attribute at all, and he doesn't need to refine chakra of different attributes to perform ninjutsu of different attributes. Chakra transforms automatically and he can directly cast it by making seals. Although this reduced the difficulty of performing ninjutsu, it also limited the possibility for Sud to learn ninjutsu on his own. Don't even think about using the ninjutsu that you didn't draw. Do you want to draw a ninjutsu? Try to spend money. Well, it's consistent with the system's usual style. P.S. There were repeated power outages today. Even turning on the air conditioner would cause a power outage. My family was watching TV, but after turning it on for a while, there was only sound but no picture. There was no electricity at home and the circuit breaker did not trip. Finally, we contacted the property management and found that the switch in front of the outside electric meter seemed to be loose and burned. It has been tightened temporarily and we don't know if there will be any problems again. Chapter 34. We cannot look at only one side of things, everything has two sides. Although the possibility of learning ninjutsu independently is limited, the benefits of full attribute chakra outweigh the disadvantages. At least when my chakra control reaches a certain level, I no longer need to make hand seals to release ninjutsu. Then it's not just about clapping my hands and shouting for anything to happen, but also about releasing all attributes without switching. When Hashirama Senju claps his hands, he basically shouts would release, but I'm different. There are 7 attributes of ninjutsu. Guess which one I'll release after clapping my hands? Is this your room? Where is the woman next to you during the day? Isn't she your girlfriend? Anna didn't see anyone else in the room. You mean Olivia? She's not my girlfriend, she's my driver and my friend. Driver? You need a driver to drive a Ford. Sue shrugged. Olivia really should hear this. Did you see it? Broken Ford is despised. Please sit down first. I'll go out and get you a room. Sue used the transformation technique to transform himself into a local man and walked to the door to leave. I don't live here. Anna didn't expect that Sue would actually book a room for herself. You live here, where should I live? I live here too. You wish. Sue curled her lips and shook her head, then opened the door and went out with a bit of arrogance. Me? Wishful thinking. Anna had seen many weird people, but this was the first time she had seen someone as weird as Sue. He claims to like supernatural creatures, but he kills them without mercy and without any care, and then turns around and says seriously that he wants to make friends with supernatural creatures? There shouldn't be many supernatural creatures who would dare to befriend you, right? If you have an argument, you can point at the other person and ask, do you want to dance too? Which supernatural creature dares to argue with you? Being your friend is life-threatening. I wonder which werewolf is so fierce that he dares to be your friend. And that Olivia? It must be hard to be the driver of a weirdo like Sue. After complaining like crazy for a long time, Anna's anxiety and worry about the unknown gradually subsided. She lowered her head and gently stroked the daylight ring on her hand. She looked at the messy suitcases scattered not far away, frowned slightly, and walked over. She doesn't have mysophobia or obsessive-compulsive disorder. Since she had to follow this weirdo in the future, rely on him for protection, and rely on him to rescue her mother, she had to show her value. It didn't matter if she was just messing around. Didn't she see that he had even booked a room for her? So sorting out her things and doing some odd jobs was all she could think of. Not long after, Sue came back. Here is your room card. I won't be leaving Brooklyn in the next few days. Please stay in the room for a few days. By the way, if you are hungry, don't go out to find food. I will help you. Sue handed over the room card and said a few words. Then he said seriously, since you are working for me and traveling with me now, there is one thing I hope you can remember. No matter what the reason, you can't hurt the people around me. At least, it is not allowed while you are working for me. You mean Olivia? As long as she doesn't provoke me, okay, I get it, I promise not to hurt her. Anna wanted to say that she wouldn't hurt her if she didn't provoke me, but Sue's eyes were too sharp, so she had no choice but to change her words. You are the boss, you have the final say. Anna still didn't understand what kind of person Sue was. Before this, she acted based on Sue's mysterious and powerful strength. Obey the strong, this is common sense. There are quite a few things in the box that you can use. Pick whatever you want and use them. Olivia won't mind. You'll get a share of the money when we buy things in the future. If you want to buy anything, you can tell me. Olivia is average when it comes to spending money, and so am I. I hope you, an old ghost, can help me. Old ghost. Old vampire. I'm going back to my room. Anna opened the door and left with a dark face, holding the room card. Anna's earlier remark that Ford actually needed a driver was very much like an old yin-yang master, but Sue's remark that old ghost should be better in terms of lethality. Although Anna is old, she looks young. In her 100-year-old body lives a soul that is almost the same age as her. Even if vampires don't care about age, the concept of age is difficult to apply to the appearance of vampires, but who isn't a baby? If she could defeat him, Anna really wanted to let Sue know what an old vampire should look like. Sue took a shower, and after coming out sent a text message to tell Olivia what had just happened. After all, Anna had joined their journey to find supernatural creatures from today and became a part of them. Olivia had to know about this and get a preliminary understanding of her new colleague. Olivia hadn't rested yet when the phone call came directly. Sue talked to her for more than an hour, telling her what happened after he went out for the appointment, and also talked about Anna and the conflict with Camille. Finally, the three shadow clones were dissolved one after another, and the return of memories produced a strong mental shock. Only then could she hold on and hung up the phone and went to sleep. P.S. It's another day with 4 updates. I feel like I've had a bad year and a lot of things have happened this year. Chapter 35. The morning light slowly opened the curtain, and it was another colorful morning, coming to the world with freshness and noise. Another day full of anticipation. In front of the floor-to-ceiling window, Sue stretched lazily in the sunshine, then turned to look at Olivia and Anna, who were chatting happily on the sofa. Half an hour ago, Sue called Olivia and Anna to her room. After all, they would be traveling together in the future, so they had to get familiar with each other as soon as possible. To be honest, Sue was a little worried at first. Although Olivia is just an ordinary person, she has a strong character and dares to fight. Even when she enters a wolf's den and is surrounded by wolves, she dares to draw her gun, not to mention Anna, an old vampire who has lived for hundreds of years. Although she is relatively friendly to humans, she just does not treat humans as blood bags or ants. It is unlikely that they really respect each other. At most, it is just superficial interaction. One is a killer who kills for revenge, the other is a vampire who is determined to save his mother. They are also supporting characters in 2 dramas respectively. The picture of them in the same frame really makes Sue feel a lot of emotions. He doesn't ask them to get along well with each other, but just hopes that they don't make things difficult for him. In fact, Sue's worries were somewhat unnecessary. Olivia was influenced by Sue and began to become interested in supernatural creatures, while Anna was cautious due to Sue's power. Their first meeting could be said to be quite harmonious. It doesn't matter whether they are really close or just superficial sisters as long as it doesn't affect Sue. He can be friends with any of them, but he won't ask them to be friends with each other. Sue looked at Anna. He actually wanted to try whether the evil sealing seal could seal Anna's vampire bloodline, but there was an awkward point about the evil sealing seal, which was that the person being cast had to take off his shirt. If Anna was a man, it would be fine, but she was a woman, this was very embarrassing. Forget it, I'll verify it when I have the chance to meet another male vampire in the future. Bang! Sue summoned 3 shadow clones. Olivia was startled when the shadow clone appeared, but then she found that Anna beside her was very calm, as if she had known it for a long time, which made her subconsciously calm down. These are my shadow clones. Your job is to be their sparring partner. Be careful not to actually attack them. Once the shadow clones disappear, I will have to summon them back from outside, which is very troublesome. Sue explained her job content to Anna and left the hotel with Olivia, the driver. What is a shadow clone? It is a ninjutsu that evenly distributes the chakra in the body and uses it to create a physical clone. The clone can use ninjutsu to fight like the caster and has a certain ability to withstand blows. After the clone is released, the memory and experience of the clone will return to the original body. Sue explained with a smile. Olivia nodded, not quite understanding, and asked tentatively, Chakra is a kind of energy, right? The energy used in ninjutsu. You said before that you are the only one who possesses Chakra, the only Chakra ninja. Why? Is it that other people cannot possess or master Chakra? You want to be a ninja? No, I want to be a Chakra ninja like you. Chakra is a kind of energy produced by the perfect fusion of physical energy and spiritual energy in human cells. Chakra extracted by special methods can be used through hand seals. Generally speaking, most people can extract Chakra and become Chakra ninjas. The only difference is the amount of Chakra, but Sue was not sure whether people in this world could cultivate Chakra. He only knew that only those who wore the ninja forehead protector produced by the system were recognized as ninjas by the system. Since they were ninjas recognized by the system, they were most likely able to cultivate Chakra. Olivia quickly asked, but what? Sue shook his head, I will teach you the Chakra refining technique when I have time. You can try to see if you can refine Chakra. Although the possibility is small, it is worth a try. The system has the function of training ninjas. If the natives of this world can have Chakra and become ninjas by relying on Chakra refining, then wouldn't this function of the system become useless? Even if you want to train ninjas and create a ninja world, it should be through the host himself. Let Olivia try it herself first. If it doesn't work, I'll give it to her next time I draw a ninja forehead protector. Olivia nodded, suppressing her anticipation and excitement. Where are we going? First, find a silver shop that does custom projects. I want to make silver ninja tools. Later, I'll contact the owner of the Williamburg restaurant to meet and talk, and try to buy the restaurant smoothly. By the way, remember to remind me to contact Luke when you're done. I want him to introduce me to an art teacher. Sue has already made a plan. Although the ninja tools produced by the system are well made and easy to use, they are not made of silver. It is necessary to customize a batch of silver ninja tools specifically for dealing with vampires and werewolves. Ninja tools are consumables, and the cost of silver ninja tools must be not low, and it can also be a long-term investment. Williamsburg Restaurant needs no introduction. As for asking Luke to introduce an art teacher, on the one hand it was to prepare for the fake painting of the Super Beast, and on the other hand it was to try to see if he could meet the heroine of Shadowhunters, Clary, and her mother Jocelyn. Before she came into contact with the Shadow world, Clary was a very good art student and passed the interview of the Brooklyn Academy of Art. Her talent in painting was inherited from her mother Jocelyn. Clary should still be a little girl now, right? P.S. Please give me flowers, collections, and rewards. In addition, I was exhausted from looking up information. I wanted to arrange some episodes of Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars, but unfortunately I haven't watched these two shows. I wasted several hours looking up information. Otherwise, this chapter would have been updated long ago. Chapter 36. Most silver shops and jewelry stores in Brooklyn have custom services, and even some jewelry stores and luxury brands accept custom silver products. Of course, the cost is higher, and if you need to hire a well-known designer, the cost will be even more expensive. Sue originally thought that Olivia would find a good-sized and high-end store nearby, but he didn't expect that she would come to her senses and grow in spending money. She drove him out of Brooklyn and came to Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Fifth Avenue is one of the iconic places in New York with many attractions. From south to north, there are the Empire State Building, New York Public Library, Rockefeller Center, St. Patrick's Cathedral and Zhongyang Park. Near Zhongyang Park are famous art museums such as the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Whitney Museum of American Art, Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum, and Cooper Hewitt Design Museum, so it is called Art Museum Avenue. There is a Street of Dreams on Fifth Avenue, which is home to many famous brand stores and is considered a high-end shopping district. The two parked the car outside the street, bought 2 cups of coffee, and started walking. Sue didn't know much about luxury brands. Before he traveled through time, he didn't even know a few domestic luxury brands, let alone foreign ones. Although Olivia was born and raised in the local area and her family was very rich, her childhood experience destined her not to be interested in these things that ordinary girls or socialites were interested in. How do you think she is so agile and accurate with a gun? How many girls carry guns? Even if you carry a gun, it is to protect your own safety. It is hard to say whether you dare to open it. Passing by a jewelry store, Olivia asked Sue, "How is this one?" "It looks like there are a lot of people." Sue shook his head, "More people doesn't necessarily mean more expensive." Olivia shrugged. The two continued walking along the pedestrian street, passing many jewelry stores along the way. Either there were too many people or the grade and scale looked too ordinary. There were a few that looked good, but as soon as Sue and Olivia said they wanted to customize silver products, the salesperson's attitude instantly turned cold. The perfunctory look made the two turn around and leave. Tiffany. Tiffany, I've heard of this brand. Finally, Sue encountered a brand he recognized. What would you like to see? Our Tiffany brand was founded in New York in 1837. We are a famous jewelry and watch brand, the queen of the jewelry industry, and famous for diamonds. Innovation and design are the two cornerstones of our Tiffany brand heritage. The themes of love and beauty, romance, and dreams have been famous for nearly 2 centuries. The shopping guide came up and smiled before speaking, and asked enthusiastically to introduce. Just for the enthusiasm and the warm service, as long as it can meet my needs, this is it. I want to order a batch of silver products. Sir, Tiffany is definitely your best choice. We were first famous for our silver tableware, and became even more famous in 1851 when we launched 925 silver ornaments. This shopping guide really spared no effort in introducing and promoting the Tiffany brand. Please follow me. This is the most famous designer in our store. The shopping guide took them to a counter and introduced Sue and Olivia to the designer who was greeting other customers at the counter. These two guests want to order custom silver products. The shopping guide said to the designer, then turned to look at Sue and Olivia, "What do you want to order? Rings, necklaces, or earrings? Our custom tableware is also very good, whether it is for daily use or collection." Sue flicked his sleeves and took out a kunai. The kunai moved back and forth nimbly between the back of his hand and wrist like a butterfly, which stunned the designer and the shopping guide. Even the customers who were watching were attracted. "Pa." Sue held the kunai and handed it to the designer with a smile, "This is the product I want to order. It's made of silver and has the same specifications. As for the quantity, I'll order 10 first. If I'm satisfied, I'll order in bulk." Also, I won't be in New York for too long. I hope to see the finished product in 3 days. As for the price. Sue winked at Olivia, then turned to look at the somewhat confused shopping guide. If I ask you to choose a number between 1 to 10, what would you choose? Sir, your request is a bit too. This was the first time the shopping guide saw someone custom ordering something like this. Is this a weapon? Sue interrupted the shopping guide with a smile and said confidently, answer my question first. After you finish answering, I believe the question you want to ask will no longer be a problem. The salesperson thought for a moment and said, 3 is fine. I have been working in this store for 3 years. Sue nodded, material fees, design fees, or expedited production fees, etc. Tell me a total price and I will pay 3 times the amount. In addition, if the finished product satisfies me, this time, including all future orders, I will give you 3% of the payment as a reward. 3 times the total cost? An additional 3% of the payment amount? If the cost is 1 million, 3 times it is 3 million, and 3% of 3 million is 90,000, which can be divided between 2 people, that's $45,000 each. 45,000 US dollars. A shopping guide's annual salary is about this level. First of all, sir, are you serious? The shopping guide was so excited that he stuttered, and the designer stood up excitedly. Sue smiled and nodded, of course I am serious. To prove that Sue was serious, Olivia next to him opened her shoulder bag and took out a few stacks of US dollars. My personal suggestion is that you better calculate the price now. Okay, we'll go now. The shopping guide woke up as if from a dream. The designer next to her was already observing the kunai and multitasking at the same time, his fingers quickly calculating on the calculator. Chapter 37. Almost all the staff in the store came out, including shopping guides, designers, counter salesmen, and managers. They calculated repeatedly several times and finally came up with a number that almost made Sue sprain his back. 10,000 beautiful gold. Yes, you heard it right, and they calculated it right, 100,000 US dollars, just 100,000 US dollars. This is Fifth Avenue, and you're Tiffany, and this is it. Just $100,000? $100,000 tripled to $300,000, and 3% of $300,000 is $9,000. It's only $9,000. Are you so surprised and out of control? Did all the employees of the store come out? And the manager, why are you joining in the fun? You are the manager, why is this little money so important? At this moment, Sue didn't feel proud of showing off her wealth at all. Instead, she felt a little embarrassed and thought their reaction was a bit exaggerated. In fact, it's not that they are making a fuss or have never seen money. Although they work for a luxury brand and handle high sales every day, their salaries are not much. Sue thinks that 9,000 US dollars is too little, but for them it is equivalent to several months' salary. They can earn thousands of dollars from just one business deal, so it is normal for them to be excited. What's more, this is an extra reward, and shopping guides, designers and other employees can all get commissions from this business. Don't forget, this business tripled. How could they not be excited in this situation? How can you not think that the Sue family is rich? They have seen many wealthy people, but this is the first time they have seen someone so generous as to triple the money and pay extra rewards. Go take a look at other things and buy a few if you like them. Oh, and help me pick out a gift for Anna. Sue was prepared to spend a little more, otherwise she would always feel that her wealth and show-off were not round enough. Olivia asked the shopping guide to take her to other counters for introduction. Sue sat on the sofa in the lounge area, drinking the coffee brought by the manager himself. She exchanged numbers with the manager. When the silver kunai was ready, the manager would call her to inform her. If it was inconvenient for her to come and pick it up, the manager could also have someone deliver the item to the place he designated. Hi. As soon as the manager left, a girl came to the sofa and waved to Sue. Sue thought it was a salesperson trying to strike up a conversation with him, so he subconsciously turned his head to look over and casually responded, Hi. A girl about 1.7 meters tall with long light blonde hair and a pair of blue eyes smiled at him generously. When she noticed that he was looking at her, she sat down next to him. My name is Serena, what's yours? The girl's blue eyes blinked as if they could speak. Sue did not react, as if he was fascinated by her, but if you look closely, you can find that although there is surprise and joy in Sue's eyes, there is more confusion and speculation. Serena, Sue was unfamiliar with the name, but he recognized the girl's appearance. The heroine in the DC superhero movie Green Lantern and the heroine in the thriller The Shallows are both this person, with this face. Green Lantern is impossible. Sue has specifically looked into it. No matter whether it is Marvel or DC, no matter it is a movie or a TV series, there is no trace of their existence in this world. This is an American TV series world without superheroes. Shark's Shallows is also impossible. The heroine of Shark's Shallows was called Nancy, and Sue remembered her very clearly. So, which American TV series is this Serena from? You are looking at me like that. Is there something wrong with me? Serena looked down at herself, a little confused. Sue shook her head. My name is Sue, what is your full name? Serena von der Woodson. Serena seemed very interested in Sue and asked curiously about his nationality. While Sue was chatting with her and asking about her identity and other information, he once again used the method of matching the characters to determine which American TV series she was from. Wait, how old did you say you were this year? When asked about his age, the other party said a number that made Sue stunned for a moment. 15. Serena repeated. 15? 15 years old looks like this? Whether it's her facial features, height, dress, or temperament, Serena doesn't look like she's 15. But girls in Europe and America seem to grow up very fast. 15 is about the same age as 20, and 20 is about the same age as 30. It's hard to judge age by appearance. Before Serena told him her age, Sue really thought she was the same age as him. Unexpectedly, she was a high school student younger than him. In an instant, Sue's mind transformed Serena from a peer to a junior high school girl. Are you really only 15 years old? Sue couldn't help but asked again. I'll be 15 soon, Serena corrected herself somewhat unconfidently. I'll be 15 soon, so I'm not 15 yet? Sue stared at Serena with wide eyes. Although there was still a hint of immaturity on her face, it was really just a hint. With this look and this temperament, 15 years old? I thought you were deliberately underestimating her age, but I didn't expect you to exaggerate it. So, you are 14 years old? Sue asked again to confirm. Serena nodded. My birthday is coming up soon. After my birthday, I will be 15 years old. Today I am here to choose a birthday present for myself. You keep asking about my age. Is age important? Does age matter? Very important. What is it like to have a huge difference in appearance and age? Anna is fine, she's a vampire, and she's older but looks younger, but Serena should be an ordinary human, right? She looks older but is younger, is she in such a hurry to grow up? P.S. The picture is Serena. Chapter 38. A 14-year-old girl, who is about to turn 15 and looks and dresses very maturely, takes the initiative to chat up a strange boy in a luxury store like Tiffany's on 5th Avenue. For Sue, yes, age is very important. Flowers bloom early and fade early. Perhaps the locals are used to such a flowering period, but Sue has received a completely different education in another country, a completely different country for so many years. Is he really unable to adapt to some of the local common sense? Putting aside the matter of chatting her up, Sue roughly guessed which American TV series Serena was from some of the information she said. Gossip Girl, a youth idol drama with dazzling and messy relationships between the protagonists. The show tells the story of the life of rich kids from the upper class of Manhattan. Just from this sentence, you can probably imagine what kind of show it is about. Show off wealth? Complicated emotional relationships? Bloody? Worship of money? Haha, anyway, after Sue knew about this show and took a look at the story, he probably gave up. Serena von der Woodson is the heroine of the show and also the gossip girl in the show. She is the most mysterious figure in Manhattan's Upper East Side. She is the only source for people around her to understand the details of the lives of the upper-class aristocrats. She also has a group of young men and women who provide her with gossip anytime and anywhere. She is the queen of the Upper East Side. To be able to become the queen, Serena's family conditions are naturally not bad. Her father is a billionaire, her mother is a socialite and a former ballet dancer, and she has a younger brother. However, her parents divorced when she was very young, and she and her younger brother lived with their mother. Her mother received a large amount of alimony through the divorce, which is one of the reasons why she can have a wealthy life and become the queen. Due to the lack of family care, Serena's rebellious period came very early. Naturally, she did a lot of things that the local teenagers thought were cool and fashionable. This was the main reason why she could become the queen. If you want to be a queen, want to be a celebrity, want to be sought after and envied, you must be the coolest one in the mainstream. It is not enough to just have a good family background and be beautiful. This mainstream naturally refers to those things that are popular among teenagers, not the real mainstream values. Until later, Serena turned over a new leaf because of something and became the girl who said, although I smoke, drink, take drugs and do all kinds of things, I am a good girl. Serena pointed at Olivia who was standing at the counter not far away and asked curiously, she doesn't seem to mind someone chatting her up. Is it because I'm not pretty enough that she feels no threat? Sue shrugged, she knows my hobbies. What's your hobby? Serena continued. Supernatural creature. Supernatural creatures? You mean vampires, werewolves, ghosts, etc. Serena's eyes widened slightly. This hobby is a bit special. How can I respond? Should I say I like supernatural creatures too? That's too childish. Only the losers in school would like these. Looking at the indescribable look that Serena inadvertently revealed, which was full of hatred for her not fighting back, Sue really wanted to say sorry and said that he had put her in a difficult position. You don't believe there are supernatural beings in this world? Does she believe it? Serena didn't know how to answer, so she changed the topic to Olivia. Sue had an idea, and said with a smile, you are here to choose a birthday present, right? How about we make a bet? Let's bet on whether there are vampires in this world. You come with me later. If I take you to see a vampire, how about you donate some blood? Of course, I will guarantee your safety and will never let anything happen to you. If you don't see a vampire, I will buy all the goods in this store and give them to you. Whether it's a vampire or a whole store of jewelry, it should be a birthday gift that you think is unique, right? Serena looked at Sue in astonishment. Although this is not the largest Tiffany store, it would cost at least several million to buy all the things there. I was planning to donate blood, are you sure you want to go this far? Sue shrugged, as a human being happy is the most important thing. Serena chuckled, I thought you were that kind of childish man, but I didn't expect you to be so playful. Okay, I'll make a bet with you. When will you take me to see the vampire? I'm really looking forward to it. What's going on? Olivia came back after picking things and glanced at Serena, then looked at Sue inquiringly. Gift. Sue smiled and stood up, handing the card to the shopping guide to pay, then handed the phone to Olivia. Call Luke and ask him to help me contact an art teacher, and by the way, ask if a suitable werewolf has been found. Olivia took the phone without thinking, found Luke's number, walked over and called. Vampire and werewolf, no wonder you can customize weapons made of sterling silver. Haha. You really know how to play. Are you looking for an art teacher? I know one who should be pretty good. My mom introduced her to me, but unfortunately I'm not really interested in learning. If you need it, I can introduce her to you. Serena took out her phone and found the art teacher's contact information. She handed the phone to Sushi as she spoke, I found her. Her name is Chiao Selin. Please write down her number and save your number as well. Chiao Selin. Sue paused for a moment after taking the phone, smacking her lips, not knowing what to say. Surprises come one after another. P.S. Today is the 5th update. Finally, there are 5 updates again. Do you have flowers? Do you have any rewards? Chapter 39. Luke said he is trying his best to find a suitable werewolf. As for the art teacher, he asked you to figure out the matter of the art teacher on your own, and also said he is a policeman, not your housekeeper. Olivia turned back and returned the phone to Sue with some gloating. Sue shrugged disapprovingly, as for friends, it takes a process for each other to get to know each other. Asking each other to do some troublesome things is a small way to promote the relationship. Today you ask me for something, and tomorrow I ask you for something. This is a give and take process. Only in this way can we quickly get to know each other and become friends. What could Olivia say? I can only say I don't believe you. Sue saved the number of art teacher Jocelyn and called herself using Serena's phone, then saved both phone numbers and returned the phone to Serena. Have you chosen your own birthday present? I can give you whatever you like as a thank you for introducing me to the art teacher. He really wanted to give Serena something, or to express his gratitude. On the one hand, it was because of Jocelyn's number. Sue really didn't expect that Jocelyn from Shadowhunters would almost become Serena's art teacher in Gossip Girl. The styles of the two dramas, except that the heroines are very beautiful and both take place in New York, are completely unrelated. I originally wanted to get to know Jocelyn through Luke, but unexpectedly Serena did it for me. On the other hand, it was because of the bet just now. As the heroine of a youth idol drama, it was normal for Serena not to believe in supernatural powers and vampires. If she hadn't met herself, she might not have encountered vampires even if New York was full of vampires. But now, she was doomed to lose. The content of the bet reveals Sue's true purpose. Serena is the gift he prepared for Anna, or you could say it's food. There's no need to mention excuses like accepting defeat, and there's definitely no danger, but Sue more or less feels like she's bullying a child and has cheated Serena, so spending some money to buy her a gift she likes is considered compensation. Of course, if Serena is unwilling or reacts too strongly after seeing Anna, Sue will delete her memory and send her away, just pretend that nothing happened and help Anna find another one. You've already prepared to give me the birthday present I wanted. Serena smiled and shook her head. Sue couldn't say it directly, so he shrugged and let it go. The shopping guide returned the bank card, and Sue took Olivia and Serena out of Tiffany's under the enthusiastic gaze of the store clerks. After finishing the business of custom making the silver kunai, Sue was not in a hurry to leave Fifth Avenue. Now that she had met a future socialite who knew how to spend money, she would definitely let her play a bigger role and teach her how to be a wealthy person in the upper class and acquire more knowledge about luxury goods. Don't be fooled by Serena's young age, she knows a lot. He talked about which brand was low-key luxury and which brand was just a filler, from brand awareness to brand style, from brand style to the groups it was suitable for. He talked about it all the way, like a treasure trove, and talked non-stop. Even Olivia, who had no interest in luxury goods, listened seriously. Talking without practice is just empty talk. Serena's knowledge is not just talk. Under her recommendation, Sue and Olivia changed their clothes from head to toe and from inside to outside, and the effect is really obvious. A cool girl like Olivia became sweet and salty under her guidance, which is really amazing. Sue was taught a thorough lesson by Serena, this little junior high school girl. The original plan was to talk to the owner of William Berg Restaurant about buying the restaurant, but now because of Serena, Sue changed his mind. While shopping for a certain brand, he took the opportunity to go to the bathroom, disbanded the shadow clone and summoned it again, and after they left, he let the shadow clone go to the owner of William Berg Restaurant. A few hours later, after coming out of a Michelin 3-star restaurant called Jean George's, Sue finally decided to take Olivia and Serena home. In the Vulture Hotel, Sue's room, Olivia found her own loot from the bags of spoils and left for her room. The empty room and the quiet atmosphere made Serena, who had been very talkative and proactive before, a little nervous. Pretending to be calm, she pretended to look around the room while trying to think of some topic to break the silence and awkwardness. Sue suddenly spoke up. Are you ready for the bet? I'm fine, how about you? Don't you need to prepare? Since you are ready, come with me. Sue shook her head, took the room card and turned to the door. Where are you going? Serena asked puzzledly. Just follow me. Serena followed Sue out in confusion, and after a few steps, she stopped at the door of another room. Be prepared. Sue winked at Serena and opened the door directly with the room card. Click. The door of the room opened, and Serena walked in expectantly and slightly nervously. There was nothing special about the room. It was not as dim, mysterious, or vampire-like as Serena had imagined. It was just an ordinary hotel room, A&D. A woman who was equally stunned and surprised. What do you mean? Sue pointed at Anna and asked Serena, who looked a little angry. Do you know who she is? I don't know, and I'm not interested in knowing. She's a vampire. Hee. Don't believe it. Sue shrugged and said to Anna, I made a bet with her that if I take her to see a vampire, she will voluntarily donate blood, so. Anna understood. Looking at Serena, who obviously felt that she was being fooled, Anna opened her mouth with a slight smile on her face. Then, her sharp fangs slowly grew out, and the area around her eyes turned as black as ink. Serena was stunned. P.S. It took me a long time to check the information to determine Serena's appearance age, avoiding some awkward things. Chapter 40. Ah! A sharp and terrifying scream suddenly rang out, Serena's eyes rolled back, and her body fell straight backwards. She was so frightened that she fainted. Anna reacted quickly and hugged Serena, who was about to fall, and asked helplessly, Where did you cheat this from? I didn't lie to her. I made every word very clear when we made the bet. Sue shook her head in denial. He really didn't lie. At most, he didn't correct the other party when he found out that he had misunderstood him. What should I do now? Can I? Anna looked down at Serena's neck. Wait until she wakes up. A few minutes later, Serena, who was placed on the sofa by Anna, woke up. Opening her eyes and looking at the man and woman in front of her, Serena subconsciously recalled what had just happened. She instinctively wanted to scream, but reason made her calm down. You're awake. You, is she really a vampire? Serena asked in a trembling voice. Sue nodded, didn't you see it with your own eyes? But it's daytime now. Aren't vampires supposed to come out at night? Serena pointed at the window. Golden sunlight shone in through the window, and Anna was standing in the sunlight at this time. Sue explained, vampires are indeed afraid of sunlight, but Anna is an exception. Will you kill me? Serena asked again. Sue shook her head, no, it will just delete your memory and make you forget what happened just now. Can I trust you? Serena looked at Sue anxiously and expectantly. Sue said affirmatively, I promise you. Okay, I believe you. Serena nodded heavily, and after breathing a sigh of relief, she curiously asked, if I am bitten by her, will I become a vampire? The transformation of humans into vampires requires a series of rituals. Simply sucking your blood will not turn you into a vampire, nor will it affect your physical health. From a medical point of view, donating blood in moderation will make you feel refreshed, stimulate the production of blood in the bone marrow, generate more fresh red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, effectively improve the human immune system, enhance immune skills, and strengthen the body's resistance. Anna's serious scientific explanation was very relevant to her profession and sounded very convincing. Really? Really? Serena believed it, and then, her expression and eyes seemed to change in a certain direction. Even if you didn't know anything about mind reading or psychology, you could guess what she was thinking. She was actually eager to try. Can I? Anna turned and looked at Sue. Serena was a little nervous but didn't object, and Sue nodded slowly. What can he say? I can only say that Serena is worthy of being the gossip girl and the queen. She dares to try everything and does anything exciting. Do I need to do anything? Serena asked nervously to Anna who was approaching her. Relax. Anna held Serena's head, lowered her head and bit it gently. Serena's eyes widened at first, and her whole body tensed up. Then she realized that apart from the pain when she was bitten, it seemed to be no different from the usual physical examination and blood donation. No. It's not that there is no difference, but the feeling is stronger. This made Serena completely relieved. She slowly closed her eyes and carefully felt this rare experience. Sue was a little curious at first, as it was the first time he saw a vampire sucking blood. But he lost interest after observing for a while. Although Anna's movements were very gentle, the scene was still a bit bloody. Suddenly, Sue's expression froze, and after a moment, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. The meeting between the shadow clone and the owner of the Williamsburg restaurant went smoothly. Although the other party was very determined at the beginning and had no intention of selling the restaurant, as the shadow clone continued to double the price, the other party finally gave in and agreed to transfer the Williamsburg restaurant at 3 times the market price. He also helped contact the landlord, but unfortunately the landlord had no intention of selling it for the time being, and he was out of town and could not come back in a short time. Sue was very satisfied with the result. The restaurant was purchased for $900,000. With an extra $300,000 as the budget for renovating the restaurant, there would be about $2 million left in the card, which was enough to buy a large or 2 small houses. If it was not enough, he would wait a few days. Now he summoned 3 shadow clones all day, and earned at least $500,000 a day. Hey! Anna raised her head and let out a long breath. She retracted her fangs, wiped the corners of her mouth, and said seriously to Serena who was a little dazed, "Thank you, I haven't had fresh blood for a long time. Your blood is very healthy. I almost couldn't control myself." Raising her hand, Anna bit her wrist and dripped blood onto the bitten spot on Serena's neck. Then, the bitten wound healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Vampire blood can heal human injuries. The blood of several types of vampires has this effect. The difference is that the blood of vampires and shadow hunters can make humans fall into a psychedelic state, fall in love with the owner of the blood, and develop some kind of connection with it, the blood of vampires in True Blood can make people overly excited, enhance certain abilities, and produce hallucinations. To put it bluntly, it is addictive. P.S. Please collect, give flowers and reward. Chapter 41. Vampire blood can be addictive, and being sucked blood by a vampire can also be addictive. In many movies and TV shows, vampires are surrounded by addicts who voluntarily become blood bags and blood slaves. For example, Sophie Ann, the vampire queen of Louisiana in True Blood, has many human followers around her, including the heroine's cousin, a half-elf. Sue was a little worried about Serena. Since she was bitten, she took the initiative to run to the hotel to find Anna for several days in a row. If Anna hadn't treated her every time and said that she might be affected by her own blood, and she herself said that she just thought it was cool and was not addicted, Sue would have considered whether to let Anna delete her memory. The Williamsburg restaurant was officially transferred to the Sue family. The Sue family paid the original employees an extra 3 months' salary as compensation and dismissed them. Then they asked the 2 shadow clones and Olivia to find a designer to redecorate the restaurant and hire new people. Sue bought 2 of the houses he looked at some time ago, one large and one small. The small one is near Williamsburg restaurant, about 80 square meters, with a standard layout of 2 bedrooms, 2 living rooms and 1 bathroom. Can it be used as a dormitory for 2 broke girls employees in the future? The larger one is a little further away, in Greenpoint, a famous and high-quality community in Brooklyn. It is a single-family apartment of nearly 300 square meters, separated from Manhattan by a river. It has an excellent geographical location and surrounding environment. It borders Long Island City in Queens to the north and Williamsburg to the south. The community residents are basically middle class or above. More than 58% of the residents here are engaged in occupations related to business management and science and art. According to Serena, this community is expected to become a new real estate upstart in Brooklyn and is very suitable for living or investment. So liked this place very much, but he would not live in one place permanently for the time being, so he handed over the daily maintenance of the house to Jiao Seelin, an art teacher he met 3 days ago under the pretext of studying art. After seeing Jocelyn, Sue could understand why Luke was attracted to her even though he knew she was his brother's girlfriend. Beauty was only one aspect of her. What really attracted people was her unique temperament of elegance and aloofness, which gave her a sense of being out of this world. Her daughter, the future heroine Clary, has inherited her mother's good qualities. Although she is only 9 years old now, she has grown into a beautiful young lady. The face that will amaze Sue in the future is already vaguely visible. Bang! In the bathroom of Williamsburg restaurant, the shadow clone suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Sue, who was about to find Jiao Seelin to start today's art class, froze and subconsciously showed a surprised expression. Max Black. Max, one of the heroines of 2 Broke Girls, who makes bold speeches, shocking remarks and often makes sarcastic remarks, actually applied for a job in a restaurant. This card must be played. She is the primary check-in target in 2 Broke Girls and one of the main reasons why Sue bought Williamsburg restaurant. Compared to the other heroine Caroline Channing, Max is not as delicate and beautiful, nor does she have a slender doll-like figure. She is also rude in character and speaks badly. She is not a lady at all, but she lives a real and sincere life. Although she comes from a poor family, she is strong on the outside and strong on the inside. She treats her friends very sincerely. If you want to make a serious friend, a good friend who can take care of each other and help each other, Max will never let you down. At Williamsburg restaurant, a slightly plump girl was fiddling with her fingers under the table a little nervously. During the interview, the boss suddenly got up to go to the bathroom, and it had been more than 15 minutes. She was a little worried that the boss might have fallen into the toilet. Maybe I should go check it out? If he hasn't fallen in, I can give him a hand. Max really wanted to get up and leave, but the various bills in her bag told her that she couldn't leave. She needed a new job that could get rid of these bills and get rid of this messy life. Click. The sound of a door opening sounded behind him, and Max turned his head subconsciously. Then he grinned, widened his eyes, and looked blankly at the person who walked in from outside the restaurant, the boss. Children, do you have a lot of questions? Max turned his head to look in the direction of the bathroom, then turned back to look at the restaurant owner approaching. You actually opened a back door in the restaurant's bathroom? What were you thinking? What do you think I think? Sue sat down opposite Max and looked at him with interest. The Max in front of him looked younger, greener, and thinner than he remembered. Max was a little nervous being looked at. She smiled awkwardly but said nothing. She was just a little harsh and sly in her words, but she was not stupid. She had to wait until the interview was over before complaining about the boss. "How old are you?" So casually asked about her age and was ready to go through the motions to announce that Max was accepted. She would be able to take over the subsequent renovation of the restaurant, and there would be no need to find someone else to look after the nearby houses. Max lowered his head slightly, hesitating whether to start scolding. "What are you looking at? I'm asking about your age." Sue explained unhappily upon seeing this. Is Max's train of thought a little strange, or does she often encounter people asking this question? In normal circumstances, shouldn't normal people understand it based on age? P.S. This is another chapter that is driving me crazy. I feel like the response has been a bit cold these past 2 days. I will finish Brooklyn's story as soon as possible and start the next one. Chapter 42. 21 years old. I am 21 years old this year. Max wasn't sure whether the other party really wanted to ask about age, so he just assumed it was. What position do you want to apply for? Waiter. If you are applying for the position of waiter, I can only say sorry, because this place needs to be renovated and will not be open for business in the short term. Sol looked at Max and continued, "You didn't leave even though I went to the bathroom just now. This job must be very important to you, right? If I let you be responsible for the subsequent renovation and recruitment work, and be responsible for the daily operation and management of this restaurant, can you do it?" Max was a little frustrated at first, thinking that there was no hope again, but unexpectedly, there was a sudden turn of events, and he jumped up excitedly in an instant. "I can do it! I can do it! Then congratulations, from now on you are the manager of Williamburg Restaurant." Sue smiled and extended his hand. "Yes." Max excitedly pumped his fist, then held Sue's hand and asked tentatively, "Boss, what about my salary?" "The tentative monthly salary is 10,000. If you perform well, I can consider giving you dividends from the restaurant. Also, I bought a house nearby and you can live there for free. Here is the key. I'll tell you the address later and you can move in at any time." Sue found the key to the small house nearby and threw it to Max. Max took the key in a panic and asked with a strange expression, "Boss, my job is just to be in charge of the restaurant, nothing else, right?" Sue nodded. "What else do you want to do?" Max looked at Sue, making sure he was telling the truth, and couldn't help but complain, "A monthly salary of 10,000, bonuses for good performance, and you let me move into your house for free. Boss, are you sure you are looking for a restaurant manager? I'm letting you move in for free, not move in and live with me." Sol looked at Max, who was winking at her, and shook her head dumbly, explaining, "Forget about living together. You may not even see me a few times in the future. I will leave New York after I hand over the restaurant to you. If you have anything, call me. I thought my chance to become a phoenix had come." "Boss, if you don't mean that, just make it clear," Max said carelessly. "It's all nonsense to say that someone can turn into a phoenix by climbing a tree." She just said it casually and didn't take it seriously. If Sue took advantage of the situation, she would most likely criticize him, just like she did with the chef Oleg in the TV series. Want to know which troll is the best? Williamburg Restaurant, Max. Criticizing the boss and colleagues is nothing. If the other party goes too far, she will even criticize the customers. In the TV series, Max's life is miserable. She works 2 jobs at the same time, and takes on odd jobs and makes cakes in her spare time. Although she is so busy every day, her income is not high. Unclear bills and unclear taxes are still the main theme of her life. Things are different now. She is paid a high salary and does not have to pay rent. Will Max change in this environment? When Caroline Channing, whose family has fallen on hard times, comes to work at the restaurant, will they still be good friends? Sue is looking forward to it. Click. The door of the restaurant was pushed open. Olivia and Serena came in with a designer in a suit and tie. The designer was found by Serena through her mother's connections. He was said to be very famous in the industry and specialized in serving the wealthy aristocrats in the upper class. Although his fees were high, his level was also very high. Sue was very satisfied with the design renderings. She is the restaurant's manager, Max Black. Sue introduced them to each other. This is Olivia, my driver. You can ask her for advice on the decoration and recruitment, and you will take over the rest. This girl who looks mature but is actually not yet an adult is called Serena. If she comes to eat at the restaurant in the future, remember to give her a free meal. Although Max didn't understand why Olivia was the boss's driver instead of his girlfriend, and she didn't understand why the driver was in charge of decoration and recruitment, she didn't dare to take it lightly. After nodding and greeting the two of them, she paid full attention and asked Olivia for advice. Why are you hanging out with Olivia instead of hanging out with Anna in the hotel? So teased Serena casually. I have something to ask you. Serena looked serious, as if she had something serious to talk about. So laughed. Let me guess, you don't want to go with us, do you? No way. Serena frowned and looked at So with dissatisfaction on her face. Unfortunately, she looked too mature and did not have the cuteness of a Lolita that her actual age should have. Olivia is my driver. She is very brave and has good marksmanship. You are very clear about Anna's identity. They are capable of protecting themselves even if they encounter danger. What about you? You are just a little girl who only thinks about danger and excitement. You will be a burden if I bring you along. I can. I know you want to be Anna's blood bag, that's why I won't take you with me. Sol looked at her unwilling expression, thought for a moment, and made a promise to her. How about this, if you promise to be a good girl who stays away from trouble, I will teach you ninjutsu. As long as you can cultivate the chakra of ninjutsu, I will take you on adventures with us. They have been together day and night during this period, and Serena already knows that Sua is a chakra ninja and knows all kinds of magical ninjutsu. Sua did not deliberately avoid or hide it from her. P.S. My writing today is not very good and it is not very smooth. After I finish explaining what I need to say, I will go to find the Wen brothers and start the next adventure. Chapter 43. In Pennsylvania, a Ford Explorer drives smoothly and quickly on the road. Anna drove, and Olivia leaned on the passenger seat with her legs crossed, eating the cake that Max had made for them before they set off. Although it was mainly prepared for the boss So couldn't finish it herself, and she was her senior after all, so was there anything wrong with eating 2 pieces of cake? The affairs of the restaurant were handed over to Max on the first day she took office. Olivia observed her for a few days. Although Max might not understand some things, her attitude was very serious. She was the first to come and the last to leave every day. She followed her almost the entire process, including the selection of materials for the restaurant decoration and the negotiation of prices. She even did her homework in private, trying her best to understand the market price of each material, and then bargained with the other party to help the Sua family save money. Yesterday evening, Sue read a newspaper, and then he stopped caring about the restaurant, the house, and art. After teaching Serena the chakra refining technique, he told her not to come again. This morning, he went to the restaurant, left a large sum of money to Max, accepted the cake Max sent, and asked her to drive away from Brooklyn and New York. Before leaving Brooklyn, Sue used his shadow clone to transform into Anna and made a feint. Then he drove from Brooklyn, New York to Pennsylvania without any trouble. Anna then took the initiative to ask Olivia to switch driving shifts, and Olivia had a rare experience of riding in a car. You know, ever since she became Sue's driver, she has never ridden in a car driven by anyone else, except a taxi. Shaking off the remnants of clothes on her body, Olivia picked up the newspaper that Sue had read yesterday. The only thing in the newspaper that met the criteria of involving supernatural powers was the news of a mysterious plane crash. British Airways Flight 2485 took off from Pennsylvania and headed 200 kilometers south. After 40 minutes of flight, the plane suddenly malfunctioned and only 7 passengers survived, including a captain and a flight attendant. The demon in the sky? If something happens in the sky, I wonder if he has any ninjutsu to save his life. Olivia turned her head to glance at Sue, who was resting with his eyes closed in the back row, then closed her eyes to practice the chakra refining technique. After it was mentioned last time, Sue gave her the chakra refining technique. She practiced according to the method, but could not sense the existence of chakra at all and made no progress at all. The demon in the sky, the ghost traveler, even though the Wen brothers finally solved the problem of the demon, if a butterfly effect occurs, it would still be unsafe without flying ninjutsu. Sue opened his eyes and opened the system panel. Buying a restaurant, buying a house, renovating it, plus shopping and daily expenses during this period, I accumulated 16,153 points. Upgrade or draw a lottery, the multiple choice question appears again. Sue really wanted to try to level up, and also wanted to have flying ninjutsu. There are several flying ninjutsu, or methods to achieve the flying effect, such as the eagle in the Super Beast fake painting, Gaara's sand control, Deidara's bird made of explosive clay, Conan's ninjutsu-style paper dance, Nokia's earth escape. Super light and heavy rock jutsu, as well as the six-path sage mode, the Otsutsuki clan, Nanao Shijiki, and so on. I don't want to think about it anymore. Nothing can stop my yearning for the sky. I have to draw a lottery. 10 times in a row. The ding-ding sound continued one after another. After the lottery was over, Sue skipped over things like shurikens and kunai and went straight to counting the important rewards. 3 words to describe this harvest: a great harvest. Fire style, great fireball technique. 1 earth escape technique, rock hiding technique. 1 earth escape, earth flowing river. 1 wind style, great breakthrough. 1 water style, water wave. 1 heart turning technique. 1 shiki paper dance. 1 chakra refining technique. 1 There are 8 types of ninjutsu alone, which is nearly 1 in 10 chance. Although most of them are ordinary ninjutsu, a shikigami dance is enough to make Sue dance excitedly. This is what he wanted. The problem of flying ninjutsu has been solved. But, is there something strange mixed in here? Chakra refining technique *1, what does this mean? The first ninjutsu that Sue drew was the chakra refining technique. This ninjutsu was even more entry-level than the 3 body techniques. It couldn't even be called a ninjutsu. It was just a method of refining chakra. Of course, this was not the point. The point was that ninjutsu could be drawn repeatedly. Sol looked at the character column of the system panel. The ninjutsu he had drawn had already appeared in the ninjutsu column in the order of acquisition. The chakra refining technique at the front did not have the *2 sign, but the name of the chakra refining technique could be seen in the item column. What does this mean? Will the ninjutsu that is drawn repeatedly become similar to the properties of a skill book? Since the attribute has changed from a ninjutsu to an item, it means that it can be extracted, and if it can be extracted, it means that others can use it. So, the ninjutsu that is drawn repeatedly can be used by others, so that they can master the ninjutsu instantly. This is such a cruel system. If ninjutsu becomes a skill book, one cannot learn and release ninjutsu without a skill book. In other words, one cannot independently develop or learn ninjutsu. And then, without a ninja forehead protector, the system will not recognize one's identity as a ninja, and one cannot use a skill book if one is not a ninja. And you can get rewards and rebates by training ninjas through the system. In other words, all the ninjas you train are your subordinates. The ones you recognize are ninjas, and they can master ninjutsu by giving them skill books. Those who you do not recognize and do not give skill books will not be able to learn ninjutsu even if they work themselves to death. You use repetitive and useless rewards to train ninjas, and develop them into your subordinates to improve yourself. Not to mention that you have the power of life and death in your hands, it is also up to you. And according to the nature of the system, even you, the host, are restricted, let alone the subordinates you train. This is really a case of one thing leading to another. Although he hasn't tried it yet, Sue is certain that the system will restrict the indigenous ninjas while increasing their own growth rate and upper limit, so this design can also be regarded as a novice protection for Sue, the host. P.S. On the one hand, the purpose of ninja training is to make the protagonist the ancestor of Chakra, and on the other hand, it also means to increase the upper limit of the protagonist. Ninjutsu is limited, but the extracted chakra will not be limited. The protagonist will get a rebate. The more tools there are, the more chakra will appear in this world, and the more chakra Sue will get. What will happen if the chakra breaks through the upper limit of the current performance of the Naruto system? Of course, this is just one of the designs to strengthen the protagonist's strength. Chapter 44. In addition to ninjutsu and common ninja tools, this time I also got a senbon, a sealing talisman, a blood-enhancing pill, a short sword, and 2 ninja forehead protectors. The ninja forehead protectors are from Konoha and Kirigakuer. Senbon, like shuriken and kunai, is a common ninja tool. It is a hidden weapon similar to a golden needle. Its characteristics are low lethality and difficulty in identifying acupoints. In order to increase the lethality, most ninjas will coat the needles with poison to increase the lethality. In addition, senbon is a sharp weapon and an essential tool for bloodletting. There is no need to explain much about the dagger. Blood-enhancing pills are a convenient food that ninjas use to replenish their blood on the battlefield. If I could draw this thing earlier, I could give it to Serena to try. The only non-ninjutsu reward that Sue felt was cost-effective this time was the sealing talisman. As the name suggests, the sealing talisman is a talisman with the ability to seal and bind. It was used in the Fourth Ninja War to suppress the dead who were resurrected by the impure world reincarnation, and the effect was very good. If he encounters a supernatural creature that he cannot deal with temporarily and cannot use sealing techniques, the sealing talisman will come in very handy. Among the ninjutsu, the fire jutsu, earth jutsu, water jutsu, and wind jutsu are not outstanding, and can almost be regarded as common ninjutsu among the attribute ninjutsu. There will be a chance to verify their effects on the battlefield in the future. The only ones that Su really studies seriously are the mind-turning technique and the paper dance. The dance of paper, the dancing butterflies perform the gorgeous paper skills that change freely. It can inject chakra into paper to control the paper to attack, defend, detect, etc. It can also transform itself into paper at any time to achieve immunity to physical attacks, but it needs to consume chakra at any time. Once the chakra is exhausted, it will be untied. If it is soaked in oil, it will not be able to transform into paper smoothly. To put it simply, it is to control paper through chakra and turn oneself into paper to change the form. Conan's angel form is a transformation of her body shape after the paper flower. In most angel forms, Conan has a pair of paper wings on her back, allowing her to fly freely, but if you look closely, you can see that Conan has no legs under the Akatsuki organization's fire cloud robe she wears. Clatter. The sound of paper sliding was heard in the car. Anna, who was driving, looked back inadvertently and suddenly slammed on the brakes. Squeak. The car stopped instantly. Olivia was interrupted while concentrating on practicing the chakra refining technique. She thought something was wrong, but when she opened her eyes, she saw Anna looking behind her as if she had seen a ghost. Olivia looked back and she also saw a ghost. Sue's face and body seemed to have turned into a paper man made of piled up papers. Pieces of white paper began to fall off from his face and body. In the blink of an eye, a living person with flesh and blood turned into pieces of flying papers and flew out of the car window. Olivia and Anna hurriedly leaned out the window to look, and saw that the papers flying in the air began to regroup. Not long after, Sue's body reappeared under the pile of papers. In the sunlight, a pair of white paper wings appeared behind Sue, and with the wings spread, Sue gave people an incomparable feeling of holiness and nobility, just like an angel. Well, if Olivia and Anna really saw an angel, they would know that the angels they see basically do not have wings, especially the angels in the evil forces, who can only use human bodies as their shells. The most common ones are only the shadows left after death with the outline of wings. Also, not all angels are holy. This feeling of flying, this feeling of freedom, flying in the wind in a sky covered with blood. Sushi did not sing the brave heart, but he was equally excited at this moment. The paper wings behind him were like a part of his body, flying freely in the sun and sky, and soaring with the wind. A breeze blew on my face, making a rustling sound. The feeling of flying is awesome. Su raised his head and rushed forward, flapping his huge white paper wings vigorously. Olivia and Anna had already gotten out of the car, looking up at the figure in the sky that was getting smaller and smaller, and finally, disappeared. What is going on? Olivia murmured to Anna. Suddenly, Su turned into a paper man, and then from a paper man he turned into an angel with wings? Then, he flew away? Olivia was confused, and Anna was confused too. Just as the two were looking at each other in confusion, a black spot appeared in the air, and then the black spot grew bigger and bigger. Su swooped down at an extremely fast speed, and almost when they just noticed Su, he had already rushed in front of them. Call out when people stop, the wind moves. Su stopped in front of Olivia and Anna, but the wind generated instantly whistled out, directly knocking the two unprepared people out. Anna, who flew out, quickly turned around and landed, steadying her body. Olivia was not so lucky. She flew several steps and then fell to the ground. Clatter. The pieces of paper slid, and pieces of paper turned into arms to catch Olivia. Olivia, who was still in shock, looked up and saw pieces of paper piled up into the shape of Su. P.S. Please collect and reward me. Brothers, please leave comments on what you want to see so that I can make timely adjustments. Chapter 45. The effect of Shikigami no Mai is great, solving two problems that Su was lacking at one stroke. Flight. Defense. The angel mode of Shikigami no Mai gave Su the ability to conquer the sky, avoiding the embarrassing and even dangerous situation of being helpless in the air. Paperization made Su almost immune to physical attacks. From now on, whether it is a one-on-one fight or a group fight, my mother no longer has to worry about me getting hurt. Of course, No ninjutsu is without flaws or weaknesses, and Shikigami no Mai is no exception. For Su, the biggest disadvantage of Shikigami dance is not that it is afraid of oil, nor that it is a derivative ninjutsu that cannot be used due to system reasons, but that it cannot be passively effective and can only be activated actively. It will continue to consume chakra when activated, and the status will be lifted once the chakra is exhausted. At present, Shikigami no Mai can only play the ability of flying, defense, and controlling paper. Other derived ninjutsu skills, such as paper clones, paper shuriken, paper rain, or making detonating tags, can only be drawn by the system. When the system transmits ninjutsu, there is never any extra knowledge. Even if you know the principle, it is useless if you don't know the operation method. Moreover, many So clans know only one thing but not the other, and know the result but not the reason. My chakra is still too little. If it were huge enough to keep performing the paper dance, why would I have to worry about sneak attacks? So sighed dejectedly. Bite. Special mission, train ninjas to successfully possess chakra. Rewards for completing the mission, ninja training function activated, 1 chakra fruit. The sudden mission interrupted Su's melancholy. After reading the mission content and rewards, he had only one feeling: the Wen brothers had the aura of the protagonists of the evil force, and he definitely had the aura of the protagonist of this world. Whatever you wish for comes true. This passive skill, could it be that I am a small account that was retrained by a big shot of the old So family? Just a little joke, referring to the protagonist of the previous book I have a Dimension Street in Marvel, the small account of the Transcendence who was retrained, turning on the ninja training function is nothing, but the chakra fruit? This is awesome. There are 2 sources of chakra fruit in anime. One is from the sacred tree, and the other is from the Otsutsuki clan transforming their teammates into chakra fruit. No matter which one, the chakra contained in the chakra fruit is huge, and the problem of too little chakra can be solved. However, this task links the requirements of ninja training with the rewards of chakra fruit, which seems to prove that his guess is correct. Training ninjas is indeed to increase their growth rate and upper limit. In all likelihood, it is reflected in chakra. Olivia. Sol looked at Olivia, who had been put down by him. Olivia, who was already a little confused, suddenly understood the situation better when her name was called. What's wrong? Su took out another Konoha forehead protector, lifted Olivia's hair from her shoulders, and put the forehead protector around her neck. Olivia touched the forehead protector on her neck in confusion, somewhat puzzled as to why he suddenly gave her this. This forehead protector seemed to be the same as his, but why did he wear it on his left arm? What happened? This is a ninja forehead protector. Only those who have passed the assessment and obtained the ninja qualification are eligible to wear it. In addition to representing my recognition and your ninja identity, the forehead protector can also speed up the recovery of chakra when worn. It should be able to help you cultivate chakra. There are several types of ninja forehead guards, symbolizing the several forces I imagined. Your forehead guard and mine symbolize Konoha, and the symbol of Konoha is the spirit of the will of fire. Wherever the leaves dance, the fire will also continue to grow. The flames will continue to illuminate the earth and allow new leaves to sprout. So felt that the village was too small, so he replaced it with the earth. The sudden solemnity and sense of ceremony made Olivia unconsciously serious and solemn. Although I don't know why you suddenly so solemnly acknowledged that I am a ninja and passed on the will of fire to me, I can only say that I will try my best not to let you down. So patted Olivia's shoulder and smiled. Let's go, let's continue on the road. Anna, who was somewhat envious, and Olivia, who was excited, got into the car. So continued to sit in the back seat. After the car started, So opened the system panel and extracted the chakra refining technique. It was a ball of green light as big as a fingernail. It's very small and the light is very dim. So tried to throw it at Olivia, but the ball of light sank into Olivia's body and disappeared. No reaction, nothing unusual. It's as if nothing happened. The chakra refining technique is still in the system's inventory. So can recover the chakra refining technique that has been integrated into Olivia's body as long as he thinks about it. Now all we have to do is see if Olivia can refine chakra after mastering the chakra refining technique, and if she can recover the chakra refining technique after success, to determine if she has the abilities related to creating and recovering ninjas. Chapter 46. Cotton Township, Pennsylvania. The Ford Explorer pulled into a motel parking lot just before dark. Anna turned off the engine and parked the car. Olivia turned and looked at Sue. Are you sure you're staying here tonight? A motel? You're acting weird today. First you turned into a paper man for no apparent reason, then you acknowledged my ninja identity and gave me a forehead protector. Now you're actually staying in a motel? Honey, are you in some trouble, or are you out of money? It's easy to go from frugality to luxury, but difficult to go from luxury to frugality. What's wrong with a motel? As long as it attracts me, I can live in a dilapidated house in the wilderness. So pretended to criticize, got out of the car, looked at a black Chevrolet Impala in the parking lot, and raised the corner of his mouth. So, what's here? Olivia, who got out of the car, looked around, turned to Anna who was carrying a suitcase out of the car and asked, "Did you feel anything?" Anna shook her head. This looked like an ordinary motel. After entering the hotel and renting 3 adjacent rooms, Sue used his eyes to see through the entire hotel and soon found the owner of the antelope car. One was sitting at the table looking through information about the plane crash, and the other was sitting on the bed, also looking through information on the bed next to him. These 2 people were the Wen brothers. Get some food and send it to that room. Sue pointed to a room in the corridor and gave an instruction, then walked towards the room. Put your things there, I'll go buy some food. Olivia said to Anna, then turned and left. In the room, Sam, sitting at the table, said, religions in every culture in the world have concepts about demons and possession, right? For example, Christianity, Indian religion, Indian poison, and some you can name it. But they've never described anything like this, Dean said. That's not true. According to the legend of the Sakura people, there are demons behind the disasters, whether natural or man-made, some cause earthquakes, and some cause diseases, Sam retorted, shaking his head. Dean shrugged, so, this demon caused the plane to crash. Seeing this, Sam sighed helplessly, not knowing how to persuade his stubborn brother. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the room. It was indeed the devil who caused the plane to crash. Who? The sudden sound made Dean and Sam jump up in fear. After seeing who it was, one of the brothers was relieved while the other was shocked. Sue slowly floated up from the ground. Last time, the Wen brothers were caught by a cannibal and hung in a cave. Sue rescued them by using the underground submarine. Although they were unconscious at the time and did not see it, Sue killed the cannibal and left in front of Dean. Dean slapped himself in the face, thinking he was dreaming. So Dean was not shocked to see Sue coming out of the ground again, but was surprised why he came here. Sam was different. He had no idea that Sue had such an ability that was completely against common sense, although the previous shadow imitation technique and Nirvana Jingshi technique were also very contrary to common sense. Dean didn't exchange pleasantries and went straight to the point. You said that the devil caused the plane crash. Did you know about this? I know, otherwise why would I come here? Sue looked at the plane wreckage and various legendary information on the wall. Sam responded, are you here to help us? Sue looked at Sam and nodded, then shook his head, you are very special. If I want to see all kinds of supernatural powers, I don't have to look for them everywhere. I just need to follow you. That's why I want to make friends with you. If you are in trouble and I can do it, I will definitely help you. Just consider it as your reward for letting me see all kinds of supernatural creatures. I don't understand. Sam shook his head. Sue walked to the table next to Sam, closed the books and materials on it and put them aside, sat on the table and clapped his hands, and said in a light tone, don't you understand why you are special? Don't worry, the night is long and we can eat and talk at the same time. I'll go buy it. Sam, eager to know the truth, turned around and prepared to go out to buy something. Sue waved her hand, no need, someone will deliver it, we'll talk about it later. Why don't you tell me how you got out from the ground first? Dean asked curiously. The last time I was diving in the soil, I just used the rock hidden technique, which is essentially an earth-style ninjutsu that uses the properties of earth-attributed chakra to change its nature. Sue's words were simple and casual, but the Wen brothers looked confused. Something about the change in the properties of earth-attributed chakra sounded very powerful, and the 2 brothers couldn't help but reveal an expression of confusion and awe. After a while, there was a knock on the door. Sam opened the door doubtfully, Olivia nodded slightly to him, and came in with Anna carrying large and small bags of things. The Wen brothers were confused and didn't know what the relationship was between the 2 women and the Sue family. Olivia and Anna were also confused and didn't understand what the relationship was between the Sue family and the 2 men, especially Olivia. When she put the things away, she deliberately winked at Anna, and Anna shook her head slightly. The meaning of their interaction is simple. Olivia, supernatural creatures? Anna, probably not. So clapped his hands and said, let me introduce you to the Wen brothers. The elder brother is Dean Wenster, and the younger brother is Sam Wenster, both are demon hunters. Olivia is a human killer, a new ninja in Konoha, and my driver. Anna is an old vampire who has lived for hundreds of years and my sparring partner. Actually, you don't have to mention age. Anna muttered softly. P.S. Return to supernatural. After all, the main focus in the early stage is still supernatural. In addition, there are several dramas in Pennsylvania that can be written, such as Pretty Little Liars and Gangsters. Chapter 47. Not long ago, I received a call from Jerry, a friend of my father. My father and I have helped him solve supernatural incidents. He suspected that the mysterious plane crash was related to supernatural events, and asked us to listen to a recording before the plane accident. A very abnormal voice interrupted the pilot's call. We printed out the list of survivors to investigate the cause of the accident. One of the survivors said that he saw a man with black eyes open the emergency exit of the plane, but there was almost 2 tons of pressure on the emergency exit door. Dean glanced at Anna, who was leaning against the table next to Sue and drinking coffee, and paused for a moment. Sam continued, we checked the wreckage and found sulfur residue on the door handles of the emergency exits. Usually sulfur residue only appears when demons or ghosts appear. After saying that, Sam also glanced at Anna. Anna was very upset by the looks that the Wen brothers gave her from time to time. Her eyes darkened and she bared her fangs. Want to fight, boys? Dean and Sam were shocked by Anna's change, and Dean subconsciously wanted to take the dagger under the pillow. Hey, isn't it too much for you to look at me like this? Sue said, although I understand your surprise at seeing a vampire, could you be more careful when you look at it? Apologize to Anna and we can continue our conversation. Sorry. Sam apologized awkwardly. Dean obviously didn't want to apologize to the vampire, but because of Sue's reasons, he still said sorry. The case of the plane is indeed caused by demons. Although demons have appeared more and more frequently recently, it is not easy to see them anywhere else except around them. Sol looked at Sam, let's talk about your case next. I can answer many of your questions, but what can you give? Aren't we friends? Dean said quickly. Sue shrugged, we are at most ordinary friends now, and we are not to the point where we can cause big trouble for you. I am ready to make friends with you, but this does not mean that I will blindly give to you without limit. Friends are mutual. Sam simply said, what do you want? Blood. Sue patted Anna's shoulder and said with a smile, coffee can't fill her stomach, at least buy her a glass of blood. By the way, don't want your blood. Is there something wrong with my blood? Sam asked confused. Sue shrugged, I don't think Anna would like it. A cup of blood will answer our questions, right? Okay. But your information had better be useful. Dean stood up, took out the empty cup, and directly cut his arm with a knife and started bleeding. Sue smiled and said, where should I start? Let's start with the blood. Sam, when you were 6 months old, your mother got into an accident and was killed by the yellow-eyed demon. In addition to killing your mother, the yellow-eyed demon also did one more thing. He fed you his blood, the demon's blood. Bang! The cup fell over. Dean hurriedly picked up the cup and looked at Sam with a serious expression. You said Sam has demon blood in his body, is that true? Sue nodded. Sam will awaken his ability soon. He will be able to predict the death of others through dreams. If you don't believe it, you can wait. If you are impatient, you can also spend some time to investigate. There are more than one case like your mother being burned to death on the ceiling. Why? The yellow-eyed demon will target 6-month-old babies. The babies are fed demon blood and their mothers are burned to death on the ceiling. As for the reason, it is too early to tell you now. Anyway, this incident is not an accident, and Sam is not the only one. Where is my girlfriend? Why did it kill my girlfriend? Sam asked angrily. Sue shrugged, will you give up your normal life if you don't kill her? Killing her is just a means for the yellow-eyed devil to force you. Dean said, our father. He's fine now. He left without saying goodbye in order to find a way to completely kill the demon. I also hope that you can grow through the opportunity to find him. Even if he's gone, you'll still be able to protect yourselves. By the way, I said that you can encounter all kinds of supernatural events because of the demon blood in Sam's body. This thing will attract supernatural creatures to you. How do you know this? Dean asked in a deep voice. Sue chuckled, have you heard of Myaboku Mountain? Dean and Sam looked at each other and shook their heads. Myaboku Mountain is one of the 3 sacred places of inheritance. The founder, the Great Toad Immortal, has extremely accurate prophetic abilities. He predicted that a major event that would determine the survival of the world would occur in the future, and he also predicted the Child of Destiny. Sue's nonsense retelling of what happened in the Naruto anime, combined with the experiences of the Wen brothers and Sue's attitude towards them, can easily give people a cognitive illusion that the Child of Destiny mentioned by the Great Toad Sage is Sam. In fact, it is not wrong to think so. After all, the purpose of the yellow-eyed demon is to break the seal of the gate of hell and release Lucifer. When the gate of hell opens and Lucifer appears in the world, it can indeed be regarded as a major event that determines the survival of the world. Whether you believe it or not, I believe it anyway. P.S. The original idea behind this book was actually to write a story about building a Naruto system in the world of various supernatural systems in American TV series. It can also be said that one person made up a complete Naruto system in the world of American TV series. Chapter 48. The Wen brothers were dumbfounded, especially Sam, who had just found out that he had been targeted by the yellow-eyed devil since he was a child and had devil blood in his body, and that his mother and girlfriend might have died tragically because of him. Then he turned around and heard that the immortals in the Holy Land had the ability to predict the future, and that he might be the Child of Destiny. Looking at the confused Wen brothers, Sue smiled secretly, stood up and walked to Dean, handed the cup full of blood to Anna, and exchanged numbers with Dean by the way. After Anna put down the cup, he smiled and said it was getting late, then left the room with Olivia and Anna. I leave quietly, just as I came quietly. I wave my sleeves and don't take away a cloud. Sue did not take away the doubts of the Wen brothers, but instead made them have more doubts. The corridor of the motel was outside, and the lights in the corridor were shining bright yellow. Anna asked Sue curiously in a low voice, that Sam, is he really the Child of Destiny? Definitely. Olivia has blind trust in the Sue family's supernatural powers. Sam was fed demon blood since he was a child. His mother and girlfriend died tragically because of him. The villain forced him to give up his stable life. Supernatural creatures approached him actively. This is how it is played in the movies. In the end, the villain must want to use Sam to conquer humans and destroy the world, but in the end, Sam kills them and saves the world. It certainly sounds like a script for Destiny's Child. Bang! A wine bottle fell in front of them from a distance and broke into pieces on the ground. Sue frowned and looked at the drunk who was walking towards her from the direction of the parking lot. The drunk was big and strong, wearing a cheap and sloppy t-shirt. His exposed arms were covered with tattoos. He looked like a gangster. Boy, the girls are pretty good. 2 girls, can your small body handle it? Why don't I help you share the burden? The drunk looked at Olivia and Anna with a lewd look, and pointed at Sue arrogantly, you look delicate and tender. If you don't want to be beaten, hand over your wallet. When I'm done playing, if you are willing to kneel down and beg me, I might return these 2 girls to you. Provocation? Robbery? This seemed to be the first time that Sushi had really encountered such a thing since he traveled through time. The last time he was interrupted by Luke in Brooklyn. It must be said that this drunkard finally made him feel the true side of this country, and also gave him the opportunity to slap the little gangster in the face. Gangsters are an indispensable part of face-slapping scenes. Reaching out to stop Olivia and Anna who were about to attack, Sue was eager to try, let me do it. Since coming to this world, he has fought against shapeshifters, man-eating monsters, werewolves, and vampires. He has never had a serious fight with a human being. Weakling, look at me, I'm going to beat you to a pulp. The drunk felt that his deterrent power was insulted when Sue didn't hand over the wallet and the girl and leave. He became furious and punched Sue in the face. I said I would make you look for your teeth on the ground, and I will make you look for your teeth on the ground. This guy must have been in a lot of fights. Even though he was drunk, his thick arms were really powerful and his punches were very fast. Pa! Sue blocked with his left arm, took a step forward, and struck the drunk's face back and forth with his right elbow. The speed of the first elbow strike accelerated to 25 miles per hour in a quarter of a second. 3/4 of a second later, the second elbow strike followed the first one with basically the same power. By using the hard tip of the elbow to attack, it not only produced twice the damage output, but also caused the drunkard's nose to be broken, facial fractures, and extremely tragic wounds. Puff. The drunk's eyes were stiff, blood was gushing from the corners of his mouth, and his burly body staggered backwards involuntarily. Su supported his balance with his right foot, leaned his body slightly inward, raised his left leg, bent his knee, and stretched it, and kicked the drunk in the head with a high whip kick. This whip kick can generate enormous power. The force generated by the strong thigh muscles is transmitted through the knee, which can accelerate the foot's movement speed from 0 to 21 miles per hour within 1/3 of a second. This kick is enough to lift the nose bone into the brain. Bang! The sound of heavy blows could be heard clearly. The drunk man's face quickly turned to the other side. His huge body flew into the air, spun half a circle, and then fell heavily to the ground. His face was covered in blood, his mouth was sticking out white teeth, his whole face was a bloody mess, his eyes were dull and silent, his body was twitching slightly unconsciously, and it was obvious that he was about to die. From the start of the fight to the end, from shouting that he would make Su's teeth beat to the end of being beaten, the whole process, 3 seconds. Sol looked at the drunk on the ground and shook his head in disappointment. He didn't use his full strength or speed. He thought that this kind of thug who dared to take the initiative to provoke and pick trouble should be able to fight, but the result was like this? Do you want to touch the corpse? This guy shouldn't drop anything valuable. Watching Olivia walk towards the drunk, Su said casually, he's not dead yet, leave it to Anna. Anna looked surprised, you still want to save this kind of person? It would be a grace to let go of this gangster who actively provoked robbery, so why save him? Save him, I want you to transform him. This is the material for the sealing ninjutsu experiment that is delivered to your door. P.S. Is there something wrong with the plot recently? The number of collections added every day has dropped sharply in the past few days. Chapter 49. Let's not talk about the security situation in this country in reality. Let's just talk about American TV series. Which episode of supernatural horror series doesn't have people dying? Which episode of science fiction action series doesn't have people dying? Even in daily dramas, murders are common and happen from time to time. The area is vast and sparsely populated. It is better in prosperous big cities with sufficient police force. In remote small towns like this, the police force is insufficient and everyone has a gun. Murder and burial may occur at the slightest disagreement. There are few monitoring equipment and even speeding on the highway requires manual detection. As long as they are not discovered and there is no obvious evidence, it is easy to escape legal sanctions. Su is not a saint, nor is he a coward. He is not the kind of person who would hesitate to kill others if they come to him to provoke him and bully him. Anna brought the drunk into the room and prepared for the transformation. If she was lucky and the seal of evil was successful, the drunk would be saved. If she was unlucky and the seal of evil failed, he would be turned into a vampire. Su could only regretfully earn the reward for the kill. Although it was only 1 point, a little bit adds up to a lot, so it's a good way to make good use of waste. The transformation process is very simple. First, let the drunk drink Anna's blood, then let Anna kill him and wait for him to revive. After resurrection, the drunk will have a series of reactions such as hallucinations, aversion to sunlight, and desire for blood. As long as he sucks human blood, the transformation ritual is completely completed. In the room, Su, who had set up the seal to seal away evil, came to Olivia and Anna, and together they waited for the drunk to revive. The drunk man's neck was broken by Anna, and he was sitting on the seal with his head hung and his upper body naked. 10 minutes later, a painful groan sounded. The drunk raised his head and subconsciously touched his face. He said in a daze with his leaky mouth, "What's wrong with me? Why are my teeth gone? The teeth are on the ground." Su rolled his eyes in an instant, quickly moved behind the drunk and formed a seal. He pressed his hand on his shoulder and activated the seal to seal evil. Boom! The runes on the ground surged and quickly drilled into Su's palm and the drunkard's shoulder. A shrill scream followed, and the drunk tried to get up with a painful and ferocious expression, but was held down tightly by Su's hand. After a moment, the rune disappeared, Su let go, and the drunk man hung his head with his hands on the ground, gasping for breath as if he had survived a calamity. A curse mark of the evil seal appeared on his shoulder, and from time to time he felt a burning pain, making him groan in pain. Olivia and Anna looked at Su. Did it succeed? Su nodded heavily, his face showing joy and excitement. It succeeded. Theoretically it succeeded. The external power in his body, that is, Anna's vampire power, has been sealed in the seal of the sealing evil seal. As long as the seal is not broken, this power will not affect him. The vampire transformation ritual was interrupted. This is almost impossible to happen. The transformation of a vampire is irreversible, and the ritual cannot be interrupted. Under normal circumstances, the drunkard should be half human and half vampire at this time. His body has been changed, and he only needs to suck blood to complete the transformation. The impossible happened, so used the seal to seal evil to abruptly interrupt the ceremony and even reversed half of the changes the ceremony had made to the drunkard. What does this mean? When humans are transformed by vampires, the only options are no longer death or becoming a vampire. The success of Su's seal of sealing evil can be said to have broken the long-standing way of survival of vampires or blood races, and broke the rules that had been established since the moment blood races were born. Although all this happened in the shabby room of the motel, and although no one else witnessed this scene, Olivia and Anna, especially Anna, knew very well that from this moment on, common sense about vampires would be redefined. You, what are you talking about? What vampire? What seal? You, what did you do to me? The drunk man staggered back to the edge of the room, looking at them in horror. The seal to seal away evil was successful, and the drunkard survived as a human being. How to deal with it? Olivia pulled out her gun and Anna revealed her vampire form. Puff. So cut her wrist, flashed in front of the drunk, grabbed his neck with one hand and lifted him up, then raised her wrist, drops of blood dripped into the drunk's mouth, and the drunk immediately convulsed and screamed. Under Byun's observation, the drunk's curse seal flickered and became hot. After his own blood entered the drunk's body, the vampire power that was originally suppressed in the curse seal suddenly became restless and wanted to break the seal. Unfortunately, the seal was very strong, at least very strong to the power of the vampire. It allowed the vampire to run rampant and rage, without any sign of being affected. It even seemed to be dissatisfied with its mischief and increased the strength of the seal. After a few minutes, the curse fell silent, and the drunkard also fell silent. Now we can be sure that it succeeded. Sol let go of the drunk who was exhausted and almost collapsed, and signaled to Anna, delete his memory and let him go. Anna snorted, he is lucky. Walking over and picking up the drunk, Anna hypnotized him to make him forget what had just happened, then carried him to the door and threw him out. Bang! After closing the door, Anna asked Su, what else can the seal do? There is too little experimental data, and other information is still uncertain. The direction I initially thought of was to seal the blood of vampires or werewolves and allow those who have been transformed to turn back into humans. Su shrugged. Anna said, you took me in just to test these, right? Why didn't you do it? You saw the process. You need to take off your shirt. Anna was a little speechless, that's it. Although I know you have no interest in me and regard me as a friend, compared with the significance of a successful seal, this request is nothing at all, right? I really don't mind. Su shook his head, this is only one aspect. The more important reason is that I can seal it, but I haven't figured out how to remove it. Anna blinked, just pretend I didn't say anything. P.S. Brothers who haven't collected it yet, please remember to collect it. If conditions permit, it would be even better if you can give a small reward. Chapter 50. Motel, parking lot. The drunk man touched his shoulder and walked towards his car with a dazed expression, cursing and complaining about his bad luck. His face, neck, and shoulders all ached, and he even had no teeth. Was I so drunk that I couldn't remember anything? Hey, can I get a ride? Just as the drunk got in the car, a girl wearing jeans, a brown jacket and short blonde hair suddenly appeared by the car window. He looked at her for a few seconds, raised his eyebrows and said, of course, beautiful girl, get in the car. Thanks. The short-haired beauty smiled sweetly and walked around to the other side and sat on the passenger seat. The drunk started the car and asked anxiously, it's not safe to go out alone so late. Do you want to go to my place for a few drinks? Don't bother. How about going to the woods over there? Okay. The drunk man steered the car straight into the woods. After stopping, he turned his head impatiently. Suddenly he felt a chill on his neck. The beautiful woman, who had been smiling sweetly, sneered. It's really not safe to go out alone so late. Blood spurted out from the drunkard's neck. The short-haired beauty took out a metal basin from somewhere and caught his blood. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Su raised her hand to block the sunlight coming in through the gap in the curtains, squinted her eyes and found her phone to answer it. I'm Dean. There's new progress on the plane demon. Do you want to come along? So calmed down and asked, are you still in the hotel? Sam and I are on our way back to the hotel. Find a good restaurant and send me the address. I'll treat you. We can talk while we eat. Sue hung up the phone, got up, got dressed, and went out to inform Olivia and Anna. Half an hour later, the three checked out and left, going to the restaurant mentioned in Dean's text message. The reason for the half-hour delay was that Olivia and Anna wanted to take a shower, which was one of the local customs that Sue was not used to. Normally, people would take a shower before going to bed at night, but the locals were used to taking a shower after getting up in the morning. Maybe it's because of body odor? Olivia and Anna didn't have any smell on them, and even if they did, it was the smell of various high-end perfumes. After arriving at the restaurant and finding the Wen brothers, Sue called the waiter to take his order and played a number consumption game. This time he changed the game. The waiter said the number 2, so the tip he got was not 200 yuan, nor was it twice the cost of the meal, but the total number of tips the waiter had received so far today *2. The waiter asked several times in disbelief, and expressed his gratitude to Sue excitedly. The service when serving the meal was extremely enthusiastic. The other waiters were envious and jealous, while the Wen brothers were completely confused. Are you interested in her? No. Then why do you tip so much? Why not? Sue chuckled and said, I got her gratitude and more attentive service, and she got a generous tip and a happy mood. We both get something. What's the problem? It sounds like there is no problem, but that's strange. Almost $400 tip, just for a few words of thanks and the service that should have been provided? You still ask me what's wrong with it? This is a huge problem, no normal person would do such a thing, okay? $400, enough to buy dozens of cases of beer, isn't it delicious? It's sour, sour. Dean lowered his head and started eating fiercely, turning envy into appetite. In the morning, Dean received a call from Jerry from British Airways. The captain who was the survivor of the last plane crash had an accident in a small plane he was flying. It was also a plane crash, and the accident happened 40 minutes after the plane took off. 40 is the number in biblical numerology, Noah's Ark, and 40 days of heavy rain, which is a number that means death. The Wen brothers went to check the plane that crashed and also found sulfur wreckage, which showed that it was still the work of the devil. Combined with the recordings on the previous flight, they believed that the devil had targeted the survivors of the flight and would kill any survivors who boarded the plane. They contacted the other survivors through the list and confirmed that they had no plans to fly in the short term, except for one person, flight attendant Amanda Walker, who had a flight plan and was leaving Indianapolis at 8 o'clock tonight. I left her 3 voice messages and her phone must have been turned off, Sam said. So we wanted to go find her and see if we could stop her. We can do this. Dean promised solemnly and looked at Sue, are you going? Sue nodded affirmatively, of course. He came to Pennsylvania specifically not only to find the Wen brothers, but also to see the devil and to find someone, a familiar face, who was the flight attendant Amanda Walker. Speaking of which, this Amanda Walker is more or less related to Olivia. Through Olivia Sue, we already know that different roles played by the same actor will not overlap, just like Olivia and Lacey, one is the killer in Midnight, Texas, and the other is the vampire in the Vampire Diaries. Although Sue has not seen Lacey yet, it is very likely that she exists. Amanda Walker, in the original plot of Supernatural, was just a supporting character in this episode, an ordinary flight attendant, but in the town of Midnight, Texas, there was also someone who looked exactly like Amanda Walker, so Sue said it was a familiar face and that she was more or less related to Olivia. As to whether this Amanda Walker is an ordinary person or an alias used by that person, you can only know by seeing her. P.S. Similar to Grimm, True Blood, Lost Girl, Teen Wolf, Once Upon a Time, The Wolf Girl, The Magicians, American Gods, etc., although I haven't read some of them yet, and haven't finished reading some of them, but the subject matter is suitable, I will basically write about them, and daily plots like Nikita, Gangsters, and Undead Forensics, as long as they are suitable, I will write about them. But for Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, the event background is not suitable, it may depend on the results of the book. If the results are good, I will go through time in a straight line. If the results are not good, I will honestly write the main line according to the timeline. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.